The Tesla Workers United Organizing Committee says employees are seeking a voice on the job and want to build an even more collaborative environment that will strengthen the company. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy middle of the week. Happy hump day.
Welcome to it.
Buenos Wednesday.
Indeed. Wednesday is my happy place.
Wednesday should be more appropriate today.
Yeah, it should be windy.
Even worse than yesterday.
How? Yesterday was terrible. How could it be worse than yesterday?
Well, this is what they're saying. 15 to 25 this morning, 20 to 25, 20 to 35, gusting as high as 50
I'm so
later
tired
today.
of it.
That's what they're saying for today. But good news is, I think today is the last day of it, and we start warming up.
Neat.
So, like, we'll be 53 today. Tomorrow will be cold, 40. But less wind, 10 to 20. Or, 5 to 10. So it's not bad tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But then Friday will be in 50s. We'll be 60s Saturday, pushing 70 Sunday. President's Day, we're 72 and 70 on Tuesday. So
I was completely off by like a week on
President's
Day. I thought for some reason it was this last Monday.
I think it was Thomas Beard. He come in here saying how the Super Bowl was Sunday and President's Day Monday, and we got all thinking. And then we actually saw a calendar that said, no, that's not true.
And I asked him, I was like, isn't there a bank holiday on Monday? And he goes, no bank holiday. I'm like, okay, sorry.
It's this coming Monday.
It was a week
He's
off.
a week.
Jeez. Sorry, sir.
But yes, President's Day is this upcoming Monday here. So
yes, indeed.
But so it's supposed to be windy today, but silver lining, 70s here by Sunday. Mm-hmm. So, think that. Think happy thoughts.
Sure.
In the meantime, just put rocks in your pocket and.
Well, it's just people who have a home that has like a foundation and a stable ground. That's great. It's fine. It's a little windy. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried about my home tipping over at this point. All right. It's just it's sort of it's become a concern.
Are you on the edge or are you in the middle?
I'm out on the outer rim.
Okay. Because if you're in the middle, maybe
Yeah, they're fine. They got I'm the front line. I'm taking the brunt of the.
You're the line in the sand.
That's right.
You shall not pass here. Here you shall go no farther. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the sand people from Star Wars essentially. They'll be back and in greater numbers.
Put a big windbreaker on your on your home.
Right.
And maybe that'll do it.
Tarp it up. Right?
Well, happy Wednesday.
Yes.
Hopefully, batten down the hatches. Another windy day, but
I gotta find my hatches.
Nicer. Do you have hatches?
I have to figure out where they are so I can batten them down.
Batten them down.
That's right.
Sometimes they're flaps. They're not always hatches.
That's true. Flaps and hatches are the worst in winds. Windy days, flaps and hatches.
Yeah, flaps and hatches. Be careful. But
Flaps and Hatches was, in fact, my band's name in high school.
It's a good name.
Yeah,
Flaps and Hatches. Yeah. That was my puppet show. I did a puppet show with Flaps and
It seems like it's the follow-up hit for Prestige Worldwide.
Flaps and Hatches.
Flaps and Hatches. You're right up there with Boats and Hoses, Flaps and Hatches.
Get ready. Going to take the world by storm.
Catalina wine mixer.
I just watched that movie like a week ago.
Really?
It was on the other day, and I stopped and started watching it.
I mean, you have to, when you see it on TV, I mean, now, granted, the TV version of it's not as good, but when you see it on TV, you have to stop. It is infinitely quotable. It doesn't matter what part of the movie you get in on, it's infinitely quotable.
I seem to always show up at the scene right where he's showing off the sword with Randy Jackson. Like every time see that black squiggle right there? I mean, I seem to walk in at that moment every time. Signed by one Randy Jackson.
I know you play with my drums. See that? See the stick? You did the tip.
Yep. Love that movie. But let me give you the rundown real quick, and then we can continue on with banter. But John from Oasis Computer is going to join us this hour, give us his monthly update on technology and what have you. In the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to have joining us Aaron Baylock with the Pecos Valley Artesian Conserving District and give us a little update on what they've got going on. They're the folks working with the water and doing all. Farmer and ranchers really know who they are. People like us that just turn on our tap in the house here in the city probably aren't aware of them as much. But we will talk with Aaron here, and you'll learn all about them and talk a little more about what they've got going on right now. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay an interview we had yesterday. We had the folks from the Extension Office join us, Tamara Schubert and Drew Garnett, and we talked about some of their upcoming events, including stuff at the library this week, and their classes coming up here in a few weeks as well for cooking sensations, all of that. So all the info on that, so we'll play that for you about 9:15 this morning.
There you
go. Plus, we'll do all of your features that include news of local, national variety, Wall Street business updates, all that good stuff.
You messed me up on John from Oasis Computers.
Why?
Every time he comes in, and literally every single time he comes in, I think of Ben Stiller.
Really?
Yes, because you told me, because you always used to say he talks tech real good.
Oh, yeah. That's the line.
It's always, I always go back to that line from is it Meet the Fockers?
No, it's actually,
Meet Parents?
It's, which one is that?
Jack, it might be I think it's Meet the Parents.
I think it is.
Where he goes, Jack talks Thai. Jack talks Thai real good. Yeah. I always go back to that scene, though. I can't help it.
Thai real good. Yeah, I think it is.
Jack talks Thai very well.
Man, you had that up quick.
Very well.
You had that up and ready.
Yeah, I was looking for it while you were doing the rundown. That's what I'm saying. Every time you say it, I can't help but think of Ben Stiller.
Well, that was my inspiration. It was he talked Thai. Oh, Jack, I talk Thai real good.
You talk Thai very well. That's just going off.
It's like, we're singing now. Let me join in on the festivities. That happened to me yesterday. I still don't know how I butt dialed the sheriff, but I did.
That was amazing. Get off the phone with Gene, and he looks down at his phone and he goes, well, hello, Sheriff.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. Did I call you? You sure did.
Hey, Mike, what are you up to? Well, not doing anything illegal, if that's what you're asking.
Nothing, sir. Nothing to see here. Move along. Ignore the big illegal still in the woods. No, I called. No, I accidentally. I guess I hit buttons. After I thought I hit an end button and must have hit a send button, and next thing you know, I'm talking to the sheriff. So sorry about that.
Turns out that actually happens with any phone. If you hit numbers enough times, you eventually just get the sheriff.
Yeah, I don't know. See, as I get older and my glasses get thicker, I make more of those kind of errors on electronics all the time.
That is why my phone has an enclosed case. It is humanly impossible to butt dial on this thing.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even in my pocket.
I know.
I finger dialed him.
You did. You fingered the sheriff.
I hit the wrong
idea.
I fingered the wrong button. But yeah, so I've noticed that. Like, I don't know how many times I've put numbers in the computers and thinks they're 8s and they're 6s. And I'm like, dang it, I put the wrong number in it.
It's sort of a weird flex, though.
I'm not flexing.
No, I know, but it could be played off as such. It's like, I'm important enough that I have the sheriff's number that close to the top of my dial.
Well, it's because I got a lot of legal issues.
Right.
But
He's number 2 on my speed dial.
To be honest, I did talk to him like a week ago. I just don't know how his number. I have no idea. Maybe it was near Gene.
It goes wife, sheriff, my pastor.
Yep.
That's my top 3.
And, the order's not right there. So. Sheriff's at the top.
Dude, she's still listening. It's at the 7 o'clock hour, man.
Hey, she knows. Legal problems. You gotta, our love will not go without making sure the legal problems are
Speaking
priorities.
Of, how was your Valentine's Day?
Good. We did really nothing.
No?
Yeah, we did dinner over the weekend, and we're going to do dinner and a movie again. But yesterday, I ain't going to lie, we went and had Whataburger.
Right. It is weird. Oh, that sounds so good. It is weird, though, that
and watch 1922. That's what we did for Valentine's Day.
Well, that's not bad, because that can be,
Yeah. So now we're caught
romantic.
up. We watched 2 episodes of...
Is the new one out?
Oh, yeah.
Did it just come out?
The new one came out Sunday.
Okay.
So we're up to 6 episodes now.
Okay.
Because I watched 5 and 6 yesterday.
Okay, cool. Oh, so 2 of them came out.
Well, no, 5 came out last week. We just hadn't a chance to watch it yet.
Gotcha. Okay. So
we tried to watch it, but our Fire Stick was giving me only audio and no video. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then I gave up, and then we tried watching it last night. It was working fine. So I think the day we tried to watch it, the Paramount Plus app was being fidgety.
Being wonky.
That's why I had to call the sheriff.
It is weird, though, when Valentine's Day falls on like a Tuesday. It's like you feel obliged to do something, but it's also a school night. So it's like, I don't want to venture that far out,
We still made it to bed by 9:30. We're all right.
Nice.
We had our Whataburger and watched... but yeah, we did do a nice Antigua's dinner on Sunday, and then this weekend we're gonna do a movie. Not Sunday, Saturday. We went and did it. Sunday we're at Super Bowl.
I imagine this weekend's probably going to be one of the harder weekends to get into a place.
Well,
just because of
well, in all fairness,
that's when everybody's going to celebrate.
Yeah, well, in all fairness, we're going to go see a matinee movie, the Brady 80 for Brady, because we do that. We go to movies at 2 in the afternoon, not 7 o'clock at night when all the young wild ruffians go.
Well, how can you make it to bed at 6 p.m. if you don't get your matinees?
Exactly.
I understand.
I need my downtime from the movie. But so we went and watched. So that's what we do. We'll go watch it at and then we'll go find food somewhere.
Yes.
Who knows where we go this time?
There's a lot of decent options for a change in Roswell.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we could do we want to go Mediterranean? Do we want to go seafood?
God, I haven't had Sarah's in a while.
Could go, of course, Mexican. Go rock a Mexican restaurant in here.
It's true. That is true. I had maybe one of the best burgers of my life from a food truck the other day.
Ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, you get some. So let me ask you this: what's your go-to fancy restaurants in town when you're trying to impress
fancy restaurant? Texas Roadhouse.
A date. Like if you're trying to lure a date,
I would
like you. That's where you go.
Texas Roadhouse, and mostly because I want people to know if I'm on a date, I want them to know. Yeah, we're gonna go. You're gonna get fed, and you're gonna have a nice meal. But there's a very good possibility there's gonna be shells on the floor. This is the level that you come to expect if you're dating me.
Okay.
So
okay.
Don't keep your expectations low.
Hey, that's
it comes with honey butter.
It's a value price steak.
Just saying.
It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. That's fine. I know.
Pound best butter in the game.
I've taken my wife there too, but I think it really depends on the dating part. Like if you're like newly dating and you spend more time talking, you know what I mean, learning each other.
Sure.
I feel like Texas Roadhouse is a bit too much noise for that.
It may be.
There's people singing and clapping, and if you're trying to not communicate,
right,
maybe that's a good place to take a date.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking you need some place a little more ambiance, a little more quietness, a little more privacy.
But I'm also trying to set up their expectations to what to expect with me. And here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's chaos. This is chaos.
Right.
So if you want this, you need to accept the chaos.
I get that. But at the same time, when you're like, hey, so where are you from? And all you hear is happy birthday. Da, 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 da. And it's like, oh, I'd love to, that's so great.
Here's where you're missing the point. That's the move.
I know,
because here's why. You can't hear each other, right?
Yeah.
You got to get real close and whisper. How's it going?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
you get real close and scream.
So where are you from? Yeah.
I mean, that would be my only knock against like a Texas Roadhouse is because it's geared towards families and not so much romance.
Yeah, well.
You know. Whereas you go to a place like an Italian place or
okay, I'll tell you this. The last time I
candlelight meal.
The last time I wooed a girl, it was Martine's. And that sort of became our...
at Martine's.
Yeah,
it wasn't a girl named Martine.
No, it wasn't Martine.
Okay, just clarify.
No, it was at Martine's. That became our like go-to place because...
Well, that could be quite... Depending on the time of day you go.
The second and third day were also at Martine's, so it sort of became our place.
Well, and it's just tasty food. I get that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess technically that would be my place. And it seems that's intimate enough and quiet enough.
Sure. That's cool. You know, I mean, it's way better than saying, all right, number 1 or number 7 do you want here?
I'm not really, and here's the thing, this is something I was talking to my counselor about the other day. I'm not really in wooing mode right now.
My parole officer, I was talking about
my PO. I'm not really in wooing mode right now. I'm not like,
sure.
You know, I'm just sort of like enjoying the single ride for a little while.
I'm just wondering, you know, I was curious, is like, you know, especially now that you are a man of single leisure.
This is the most wonderful time of the year to be single. I saved so much money yesterday. Yeah. I went home, made spaghetti. It is
about perspective, because one could also say how sad you're by yourself and you're happy that you didn't spend money.
Yeah.
Whereas the real point, you know, and I'm not trying to flex or be a jerk, but I'm like, I'm happy I'm married 20 years. I'm 100%. So thankful I have a person that's with me.
And I'll be honest with you, dude. I'll be honest. You know, when I was married, I was happily married. Yeah. You know, but I found a place where it's like I don't necessarily have to share my stuff with anybody.
And coming from I'm not trying to. You know, you're married, you get, but you know, when you come out of a divorce, people don't get divorced because they're happy. Right. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And when you get divorced, I think it does put a just mindset that marriage is not a good thing, and because of your experiences, and that makes sense. People that have that
and experiences vary. 100%.
All I'm saying is, if you get it right. And I'm lucky enough to do that. I will take this over what you got any day of the week. And it's nothing against you. And you're happy.
Understand.
And I get what you're saying, because there's days when I have to accommodate my wife and all that. I'm like, dude, if it was just me, I would have had this task done and over by now.
The beauty of it is, you don't have to take into account how many hours you have to be dead in your house before your cat's going to start eating you. Because somebody's there to discover your body.
This is true.
If it's a week I don't have my kids and I have a heart attack at like 7 p.m. on a Tuesday, are the paramedics going to find me before my cat starts eating me? That's the question, you know? I mean, that's really the...
Well, you have a job, so yes.
Well, yeah.
I mean, if you didn't have a job, then maybe not. But someone's going to, at some point, I would be like, hey, where's Sean? So, I don't think you'll get to cat stage.
Fair enough.
Unless you retire.
Oh, you don't know how hungry I keep my cats. That's the thing.
If I nap for an hour, I get my finger licked on.
I also bathe in bouillon to make myself extra delicious.
Right. I bathe in I got catnip soap that I.
Hey, Dr. Squatch made catnip soap, but here's where we find ourselves.
That's right. My soap smells just like Meow Mix.
I'm a Friskies man. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's right.
I'm actually, I smell like Fancy Feast. What's up?
You're fancy.
I smell like a little can that smells like Alpo.
I stand by the. I'm gonna regret saying this.
Okay.
I'm trying to cover my phone. Actually, you know what? Hang on.
To protect his phone, he throws it into the other room.
So I don't get targeted advertising.
But he doesn't get a working phone.
It's fine. Dr. Squatch soap is the best soap in the game. By far.
I love the colors in the commercials. I've never actually touched it, smelled it, or held it.
What bothers me more than anything else is the commercial. Every commercial I've ever seen shows them cutting the soap.
Well, that's an Irish Springs fault.
Who does that?
The Irish Spring people.
Do they?
That was way back in the 80s and 70s. They talked about Irish Spring and how it's supposed to remind you of the mountains and all the fresh springs. And some lumberjack dude would whittle, by the way, incorrectly, because he pulls the knife back towards him. That's not how you do it. That's dangerous. Take a scouting class and learn tote and chip. That's 101. Never towards you.
Of course not.
Come on, man. I have tote and chip. They're cutting corners off these people. There's scouts that are laughing right now. The rest of you are like, what is he talking about? Tote and chip and cutting corners and all that. Yeah, that's all scout stuff. But there's some Boy Scouts right now laughing their fool heads off.
Oh, 100%. How dare you whittle soap wrong? First of all, not even taking into consideration you're whittling soap. How dare you do it wrongly?
Yeah. Well, I think, there was a time when people would make soap sculptures.
Sure.
And then they go out in the rain and they turn to bubbles. But yeah. I blame Irish Spring. Irish Spring's fault for, I guess our guest is probably, you haven't seen John? Okay.
He has not arrived yet.
All right. He might be busy this morning, so might be hold on to your butts. We're talking about soap for the next 35 minutes.
I have to make sure my phone's okay, actually.
Yeah, check your phone. Tell you what. Sorry.
Usually when I want to take someone...
Oh, let me turn your mic on. That might be helpful.
Usually all the girls I take out to eat, they usually want to go to Panda Express for some reason.
Really?
It's always Panda Express.
Huh.
For the girls that I get.
That's how I lure the ladies with a little kung pao chicken.
She likes it orange.
I don't know. That's that type of girl. That's the generation
Not like
we
my
live
girl's
in.
panda-esque.
Hey, upgrade. When you get out of town, upgrade to a paveway. That's like a fancy Panda Express. I think they're owned by the same people.
And they're not even like all Asian either. They're mostly white chicks. But they're like,
oh, good.
they're like Panda Express
there you
for some
go.
reason.
We're learning lots here today.
I mean, I'm discovering much.
Is your phone okay?
It's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Let's go ahead and pause for weather and all so we can get that going since we're already pushing 7:30 here. So if John makes it, we're going to keep going. If not, we'll talk about some other stuff. But first, let's take a look at that weather. Spoiler alert, windy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. With a cold front moving through the area, we'll be getting very gusty wind through the day, as high as 50 or 55 miles per hour. And we may get some clouds through about midday, but sunshine this afternoon, and we stay cool with our high in the low to mid 50s. Overnight, clear and cold, dropping to a low of about 20 and still windy. Then not as gusty on Thursday, sunshine, and we're in the low 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 34 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds currently out of the south at 13 miles per hour. We have today is just a wind advisory, so maybe they're not saying it as bad as yesterday, even though the numbers they gave us are bigger. But I know, like Jennifer, our meteorologist, the midday, Jennifer Naramore, she kind of was talking potentially 60 to 70 yesterday. I don't think I've seen that, and well, at least not downtown, maybe out in the plains or something. But today we do have a wind advisory. That's going to be officially kicking in at 10 o'clock this morning. That will remain in effect through 5 p.m. this evening. We do have another windy day in store for us. Mostly sunny, highs near 53. It's a little cooler, too. We're not in the 60s today. Winds are going to be out of the south this morning, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Later today, increasing 25 to 35. Could see wind gusts as high as 50 miles per hour later today. Tonight, mostly clear. Winds expect an overnight low of 20, so another chilly night tonight. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour, so a little breezy still. Thursday, cooler, but less wind. Sunny, high of only 41 tomorrow, so we'll bundle up tomorrow. It's going to be chilly, but winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10, so probably you'll feel colder today than yesterday because of the winds, but that's just me. For tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 19, another chilly night, northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, we're creeping back up to the 50, near 50, southwest winds 5 to 10, and then warming up. And then staying warm for a few days after this here. The weekend Saturday will be back up near in the 60s, 62 and sunny on Saturday. Sunday, mostly cloudy, but highs near 70. And then for President's Day, Monday, partly cloudy and breezy, 72, sunny and 70 on Tuesday of next week. So it looks like things do warm up here this weekend. So got to get through today, though, and tomorrow. All right, it is 7:29. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pause for a quick commercial break. We'll also pause for local news since it's 7:30 in your Kim Commando update. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Attention high school students, would you like more information on the safest university in New Mexico? Then RSVP today to our Eastern New Mexico University Open House Preview Day, Saturday, March 25th. At ENMU Open House, you'll have a chance to win great scholarships and prizes. Get more information about admissions, meet with the ENMU faculty, find out more about potential majors, and get a specialized campus tour. Sign up today at enmu.edu/open house. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Using locally owned and operated Zenith Security Services gets you service after the sale, quick turnaround time, security systems tailored to your needs, an actual person when you call, and you're investing in your community. Zenith Security has provided security solutions for southeastern New Mexico since 1998, and we care about our community. When you have security needs, remember, give the locals a shot and call Zenith Security Services at 575-626-3521.
I've heard it said, speaking my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Proverbs 15:15 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare. Sometimes my greatest accomplishment is keeping my mouth shut. There are times when we argue that it would be easy to lash out. So I have a choice to make. I can either feed the fire or quench it with my words.
Julie and I have learned there's going to be arguments, but we've learned to fight and argue, not to be right, but to get the situation right.
So the next time you're in an argument, try saying something kind from a genuine heart to bring peace in your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. The city of Artesia has selected sports facilities companies to manage and operate the Aquatic Center. The firm has already begun its transition. Mayor John Henry said the selection was made because of the firm's national expertise in sports, recreation, and aquatics. Henry said Sports Facilities Companies has a strong track record of aquatic center operations and has demonstrated an ability to serve and partner with local government leaders to meet the needs and desires of citizens. And in Carlsbad there, Mayor Dale Janway confirms the resignation of Community Concert Association Director Becca Cannon. Cannon said she's decided to leave in order to move closer to her family in Houston. Cannon's husband, Rick, has also been a production manager for XTO Energy in Carlsbad. Janway said Rick Cannon played an important role during the pandemic. and was a voice for the oil and gas industry. Janway also credited Becca Cannon for her work with Carlsbad Main Street, saying the couple would be dearly missed. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Well, this is disturbing. Even though it's gained widespread use, wokeism has apparently already invaded ChatGPT. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by ExpressVPN. Secure your online data and get an extra 3 months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. While everyone's still debating an exact definition of wokeism, there's no question AI knows. The Daily Mail asked ChatGPT to make 10 arguments for the use of fossil fuels. The answer? I'm sorry, but I cannot fulfill this request as it goes against my programming to generate content that promotes the use of fossil fuels. Irritating, especially considering fossil fuels power ChatGPT servers. Podcaster Aaron Sibberman found that ChatGPT says it would be better off to set off a nuclear bomb, killing millions, than to use a racial slur. When asked to define a woman, the bot replied, "There is not one specific characteristic that defines a woman." Okay. And finally, ChatGPT refuses to write about the dangers of AI. I'm Kim Commando. Would you do everything it took to protect your family? Well, of course you would. That's why I recommend Simply Safe Home Security. They make it easy to protect every inch of your home with advanced security and 24/7 professional monitoring. Simply Safe is designed with cutting-edge security technology. In an emergency, Simply Safe's professional monitoring agents use Fast Protect technology to capture critical evidence and verify the threat is real, so you can get priority police dispatch. And Simply Safe's 24/7 professional monitoring costs under $1 a day, less than half the price of traditional home security systems. Plus, lock and unlock your doors, access your cameras, and arm and disarm your system from anywhere. Customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafekim.com and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off your order with interactive monitoring. That's simplysafekim.com. Simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:37. A few things to put on your radar here coming up. First off, this Saturday, February 18th, is All Saints Catholic School, their 28th annual Mardi Gras Gala Dinner and Dance benefiting All Saints Catholic School. It's this Saturday evening, February the 18th. It's going to be at St. Peter Catholic Church there in the gym. It'll be from 6:30 till 11. Doors will open at 6:30 there, goes till 11. Pepper's Pepper's Grill and Bar, they are handling the food. They're going to be doing Cajun and American cuisine. DJ Louis Nahar will be on the ones and twos providing music for the evening. And Ed and Kathy Cook, they'll be doing their photography. They see them at all the events, so they'll be there taking pictures. And, if you want to, you put on the beads and all the fun stuff, they'll take you pictures, couples, things like that. It's an adults 21 and over event, and a cost is $60 per person. I call and check, but they did have some platinum, gold, and silver table sponsorship. So if you want to, I believe it's table seats 8, and you can purchase a table, or you can just purchase tickets individually or as a couple. But tickets are $60 per person. I don't know what they're charging for the platinum sponsorships, but if they've got some available, reach out to All Saints Catholic School. You can go to their Facebook page. Just look for All Saints Catholic School on Facebook. Facebook.com/All Saints Catholic School. That's the actual direct link. Or you can call 575-627-5744. Again, 575-627-5744. The evening includes not only a delicious meal and music and photography and all that. They're going to have a silent auction with some really sweet memorabilia and things for you to bid on to help out the school. Also, door prizes. They have their annual King and Queen contest where they name the Mardi Gras King and Queen, and of course the King Cake, which you can win a prize if you purchase a piece of king cake, and you get a baby inside your cake. You get the baby, and if you got the baby, you get the prize. So if you do buy the king cake and you're hungry, don't just start chowing down. To make sure you don't swallow a baby.
Anybody ever just keep the baby? Be like, I got a free baby out of this.
Maybe. Depends on, I
how
love
into miniatures you are.
I love a good miniature plastic baby as much as the next guy, but I prefer whatever prize comes with that.
In theory, what if the prize is worth less than the tiny plastic baby?
I got a feeling it's not.
Well, it depends on how much you value miniatures, honestly.
I guess so. I mean, it's. I wonder if
I'm gonna take this over to the miniatures museum and see if I can trade up.
Like, I wonder if the faux pas or is the proper move to clean it up first before you say you found it.
You got to.
Like, do you put it in your mouth?
Because it's gonna have
icing and cake free
bits and frosting.
Yeah,
on it,
exactly.
Yeah, and you got to get into the nooks and crannies.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a little weird. You got to detail it first before you turn it.
Gave it a once over.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like I won the king cakes and got the plastic baby. I upgraded this or I traded this up to a house. It's like the red paper clip. Mm-hmm. You could keep trading that little plastic baby up and eventually get a speedboat. Who knows?
You could. Or you just turn it in right there and get whatever prize.
Right, sure. So think small and get your little door prize, or think big and, trade that little plastic baby up to, I now own a stake in the Dallas Mavericks. It could be anything.
Have you ever tried that? Like, legit
I want
tried
to
it?
so bad because it looks, the way I see it work.
Yeah. Now, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, the concept is you get an item, something small and insignificant.
The red paper clip is the
go-to. I've seen other versions, but yeah. And so you trade it for something else that may be a little bit better, but you keep trading, and eventually you turn that paper clip into a car or a computer or something of much greater value, but you do it through a basically a gauntlet of trading.
I don't know if it was a setup, but I watched this video where a guy was at a comic convention.
Okay.
Roy might know more about this than I do because I think he's probably been to a few, comic conventions. But he had a Pokemon booster card. It was just like if you ever played the Pokemon card game, it was just like it gives one of your characters more power. That's all it is. It's just a booster card.
Okay.
It's no real value. This guy took this card, went to a booth and said, "What will you give me for this?" And they were like, and they gave him a pack of cards, I think. And he eventually traded up this booster card to a solid gold Charizard card.
And that's valuable?
It was insanely, it was like $500 value.
Okay. Was it actually made in gold?
Yeah, it was
gold-plated?
Gold-plated, yeah.
Okay.
It was encased in gold. And like 3D and all that.
So that's got actual value because it's gold.
Because it's actual gold. But I'm like, how does that work? How does someone see anything of value in the thing you're trading in?
Because that's where we got back to this value thing you talk about. What something means to someone is different. And so that thing that was junk to you, someone said, you know what, I do, that helps me. Therefore, let me give you this. It's a lesson in perspective.
Sure.
It's a lesson in, one man's junk is another man's treasure type thing. And so it's not really about ripping people off. Because on the surface, you're like, it's just a series of getting over on people. But it really isn't that. It's the idea is to show that something that may not be valuable to you may be valuable to someone else.
Now I am curious. I don't mean to cast onto Roy, but I assume you've been to comic conventions, right? Like you've gone with Tanner to a few, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, that's my dad.
Is trading a common thing at these conventions? Do people commonly trade like items, or is that like a more?
Well, we do. My dad's traded comic books.
Okay.
But so I'm assuming cards have the same principle.
Surely.
Well, I mean, imagine
it just seems kind of cocky to walk up to a booth with a thing and be like, "What do you give me for this?"
It depends on the booth. I mean, if the booth's collectors, then they're probably wanting to talk trade. If they're just about making the Benjamins, then they probably could care less what you have, and they're like, "No, I'm selling this card. I'm not willing to trade it." But the people that are collectors at the convention, they're like, No, I have my own personal collection of Pokemon cards or whatever it is they're into. That might be of value to them, but a person who's not seeing a Pokemon card as something to play with and to a treasure, they're just looking to turn a buck. Again, that's what goes back to this.
I think I'm going to try this. I only have one like comic book worthy, like tradable thing. I used to do Loot Crate. This was years ago. So it's not even that. Loot Crate was you pay a fee like $20.
Okay.
And they would send you a crate full of stuff, nerd stuff.
Okay.
Usually based on a specific like theme.
Okay. So it was like one of these dawn of these surprise boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I need
Like
someone to
10
give
years
me
ago.
things. I'm
Yeah,
going to pay
Loot Crate-
somebody to give me things every month.
Loot Crate was a while ago. I have this Street Fighter comic book that came in one of these Loot Crates, and it's still wrapped in the plastic sleeve that it came in. So it's still in like pristine condition. I'm tempted to next time we do like a comic convention here in town to take that and do just that and do like the.
Is there
what do
value
you
to
get
that thing that you got?
I don't know. I guess like you said,
Sure, you can do an
values in-
internet cursory search
values
on
in
it.
the eye of the beholder. But
Yeah.
I imagine because it was a Loot Crate item, it's not rare.
Sure.
But also, how many people still have it wrapped in plastic and untouched?
Before you do it, I'd go ahead and get on eBay and just see what people are asking for similar things, and
Right.
then at least give you a value, at least an idea of what kind of value to expect.
Is it still wrapped in plastic?
Yeah, it came in this like plastic
See,
sleeve.
it may
and
be
I never-
valuable already. No,
I
I
never
realize it.
even took it out of the
In
sleeve.
my opinion, I would slap a $500 sticker on there.
Really?
Yeah,
But
lay it
it's a
up,
lo-
lay it up on the wall.
It's a Loot Crate thing, so I'm like, I don't know how.
I think
But
that
you-
it has exclusivity, right?
It's true.
It might be more rare than you think because it's a Loot Crate thing. Because let's see, what's the percentage of people that get that?
Yeah,
You
and
know?
also done. Left the
Yeah.
items alone.
Like I know, back in the day,
You know what you do? You get a little plastic box. You put it in the plastic
shadow box, right?
Well, see, back in the day when I had more of an interest in collectibles and things and cared about that, I knew some of the more valuable things like bobbleheads and stuff were always like a limited edition Kobe Bryant that was put out by like PlayStation or something,
Right,
and there's only no one knows about it because they only put out a few thousand that so many people bought a PlayStation game and they got a Kobe Bryant bobblehead.
Right.
Those were the ones that usually, back when I cared, they were the ones that were vibe. You look and be like, oh, that thing's worth, 3 times what a garden variety Kobe Bryant bobblehead's worth,
Yeah, I'd be curious to look into it to see if it's got any value at all. But
yeah.
But I think I'm going to try that. Like next time we do like a comic convention here in town, I'm just going to see if I can trade up to anything. Find out the value first, but then do the whole post the video of what do you give me for this?
Yeah,
and then see.
Well, with
maybe
that,
I
I
can
would straight up just go for the high already.
end up getting a house.
Well, I mean, you
For the
hear the
high-
stories
for the high
of that.
bucks.
Like, I watched an episode of Last Man Standing where they actually cover, like, you've ever watched the
I've
show?
seen a few episodes.
Kyle, the guy Kyle,
Okay,
he's the son-in-law.
Right, right.
He's employee of they kind of play him off as a doofus
Mhm.
kind of deal. Well, one of the episodes that featured, that they featured it, he was given a what was it? It was something like a pen or something like that.
Okay.
And then he did exactly.
The trade
and
up
then
thing?
he ended up getting like a lunchbox and then going to a computer for a kid. And then of course the people said, wait a minute, you traded this for a laptop? He goes, yeah, I helped the kid out. He didn't have a laptop and all that. And he goes, well, what did he email you back and forth on? He's kind of pointing out to Kyle that this is stupid and people take advantage of you and all that.
Right.
And then the moral is someone comes in and says, no, man, he was enjoying it. He was, still seeing the good in people in the world, and you just took that away from him. And that was rude. And so it was kind of that thing. It's like, you do you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get people have
Sure.
nefarious things, but don't let that ruin your kindness for people. And that's kind of the lesson there.
Cynicism can really rear its head and get in the way of a lot of things. It's one of those things I have to remind myself that the pessimism of having lived for 38 years shouldn't be shared with my
Right.
children.
And I'm that. I'm a cynic myself. I'm
trying to
just
keep their optimism intact,
And I'm not going to lie. The older I've gotten, the more cynical I've gotten. Now we're getting deep, man. It all just went from lunch boxes and pens to this.
Dude, I love the trajectory of these conversations. It's
I will
amazing.
say I haven't heard of that story that you talked about.
The-
Where the guy did that.
Oh, really?
I did hear about the Logan Paul Charizard thing, though.
Well, there's a bunch of those stories
Was it
of
Logan
similar.
Paul that did that? I didn't realize. Okay, sorry, get the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was Logan Paul. I can't stand that guy. Anyways, but yeah, no, it's you've lived a certain number of years and gone through been chewed up and spit out by life.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to let the pessimism be the prevailing.
Right. Thought Roy was going to get the phone.
I thought he was too. Maybe we're blowing up. People really want to get in on this conversation.
Oh, it's the water. That might be our guest for next hour. I think that's who that is. That's our guest for next hour, Roy. I think maybe he ran down to get him.
Maybe.
I think that's what he did. He saw the caller ID, and then instead of answering it, he just ran down and got it.
Oh, I want it.
But he forgets. Oh, there he is.
No, they hung up before he
Oh, it transferred to me. I think it's our guest. After 4 rings, it goes to me. Why in the middle of the show, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what it does. Anyway, I've completely lost thought of where I was going.
Optimism versus pessimism.
Yeah.
And
As I've gotten older, I have gotten more cynical, and I remember growing up, and I'm thinking, humanity for the most part, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, that doesn't mean I don't keep doing and keep trying. But at this point, I don't trust humans. If they have an opportunity to do bad without getting caught, that's what they're going to do, and that's what I believe.
Right.
And
for the most part, you're not wrong.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I didn't used to think that, but the older I've gotten, the more cynical I've gotten. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what I am. just for gee whiz information. So, all right, it is 7:50. Let's go ahead and pause for your Chaves County sports update. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then we'll wrap up the hour here. Because that's all I have to say about the fact that I don't like people.
Because we ran into a brick wall is what happened.
Well, I don't want to get deep and get into.
No, I completely
next thing you know, I'm going to be on here like, I'll tell you, man. I don't want to get into therapy. All right, it is 7:51. We'll be back after the sports update and a quick commercial break.
A live read from BetterHelp.
That's right. I'm going to go talk to my counselor. I'll be back.
Hey, New Mexico. Experiencing issues keeping your office technology up to date with these crazy supply chain issues? Well, DSI is here to help. We've diversified our products and solutions to help your business not just survive, but thrive in any situation. Have your teams collaborate and share with high-def video walls and interactive smart panels. With free unlimited support, the fear of any new technology is a thing of the past. Contact DSI today to upgrade your workspace. www.dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Good victory on the road for the Goddard Rockets last night in boys hoops and almost for the Roswell Coyotes. Let's start with Goddard winning at Lovington 53-42. The Rockets now 12-13 on the season, 2-3 in district play. They'll close out the regular season at Artesia on Friday. Meanwhile, Roswell falls to Hobbs 79-75 at Hobbs. 12-13 the record likewise for the Coyotes, who are 1-4 in district. They will play at Clovis Friday night at 7 o'clock to finish the regular season. In girls hoops, not as good for the two big schools. Goddard loses to Lovington 54-45 and will likewise play Artesia just like the boys on Friday. And the Roswell girls fall 67-24 to Hobbs. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. inflation slows to 6.4%. The pace of consumer price increases eased again in January compared with a year earlier. The latest sign that the high inflation that has gripped Americans for nearly 2 years is easing. Tuesday's consumer price report from the government showed that inflationary pressures in the U.S. economy remain stubborn. T-Mobile customers across the United States reported major network outages on Monday night, leaving them unable to make calls, send text messages, or access to the internet. T-Mobile reports it is operating at near normal levels in affected areas, including major cities like Chicago, Los Angeles, Phoenix, New York, and Seattle. Hyundai Motor and Kia Corporation will offer software upgrades to 8.3 million U.S. vehicles to help curb increasing car thefts. Thieves are using a method they learn on TikTok and other social media channels. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Roswell Skin Center is here to provide comprehensive skin care to southeastern New Mexico in a friendly and warm environment. Dr. Cometti and his team continue to offer a full scope of medical and cosmetic dermatology services, from treating skin cancer to helping you look your best. Roswell Skin Center is proud to introduce Anna Ingalls, licensed esthetician who specializes in cosmetic treatments, including laser rejuvenation, hair removal, facials, chemical peels, and more. Anna is accepting new patients, and when you schedule your first treatment, You can receive $50 off and begin earning valuable discounts to be enjoyed throughout the year. Schedule with Anna by calling 575-208-2509. And for more info on our services and rewards, go to roswellskin.com.
When it comes to your business, Big O Tires knows how important it is to keep your commercial vehicles moving. Why not take your fleet vehicles to the team you trust? Big O Tires has a wide tire selection, offers quality automotive services, and provides priority appointments. With over 60 years experience, our technicians will get your operation back in action quickly. Roll into Big O Tires, your one-stop shop for all your commercial vehicle needs.
Get ready for the most out-of-this-world weekend Roswell has ever seen. UFO Expo 2023, March 10th through the 12th at the Roswell Convention Center. 3 days packed with 40 different events, including 10 different film screens, producers, celebrity personalities, and renowned speakers, and all just a few blocks from the UFO Museum and Research Center. The 3-day pass includes VIP parties, mixer tents, speakers, live music, film festival, cosplay events, and more. Get tickets and more info at ufoxpo.com. UFO Expo 2023, March 10th through the 12th at the Roswell Convention Center.
In New Mexico, the leading cause of death is heart disease, but it is preventable. This Heart Health Month, celebrate with Artesia General Hospital at a special presentation from the cardiology specialist at Advanced Heart and Vascular Center of New Mexico. They'll be joined by special guest Sherry Wells, Executive Director of the American Heart Association. Join us on Thursday, February 16th at 5:30 p.m. in the Green Chili Cafe. For more information, please visit Artesia General Hospital's Facebook page. One beat at a time, we're here for every heart.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:56. Stay tuned next hour, about 8:15 or so. We're going to have Aaron Bullock, I believe that's how you say his last name, with the Pecos Valley Artisan Conservancy District. We'll get an update from him if you're like, what is that? Well, first we'll tell you about that. But I know farmers and ranchers out the Pecos Valley are very familiar with the Pecos Valley Artisan Conservancy District.
Artisan, doesn't that just mean they're whole grain?
Artesian, I think is what.
Artesian.
I'm sorry, did I say artisan? I meant artesian. Artisan, yeah, that's like craft bread.
Yeah, right.
Artesian.
They're made with whole grains. They don't crack the chaff.
Artesian, as in, as in Artesia, but the water, not the name of the town.
Right.
So that's what I meant. Sorry. But if you've got talent, or you want to watch talent at this point, Grace Community Church, their music and media ministry presents their fabulous February Follies Talent Show edition.
Ooh.
It's going to be February the 24th at Grace Community Church, which is located at 935 West Mescalero. Showtime is at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30. Tickets are $5 each. They also offer group rates if you want to bring a bunch and save a little money. Of course, all of it goes to benefit the ministry there. Yeah. They will have refreshments after the show, so come for the entertainment, stay for the refreshments afterwards. If you have any questions, you can get tickets by calling 575-623-5438 or visit their website, www.roswellgrace.com/follies. And you can get your tickets there, too.
Yes.
So, but February 24th, which is just around the corner.
It is. It's coming up quick.
Is that next week?
It is.
That's next week.
January took so long. Like, January was like 127 days, and now we're already like halfway through the year, it seems like.
Right.
Like, the January was like, it took forever, and now it's like February, March, April, May, June.
Well, February is a short month, too.
It's short, but it feels like we're boogieing through a lot faster. Like, there's no reason that the 20s should be next week.
Well, it's going to feel weird on the 28th, and the next day's March. And you're like, wow, that to me, that seems a little fast. But
yeah.
It is, but that's what happens when you get older, man. Life gets faster for some reason. I don't know why that happens.
Really does.
It kind of does. So that's just the way it is.
Faster and yet more meandering. What's that about?
Hurry up and wait.
That's it.
That's the lifestyle there. So I got time. Do I got anything else?
I've got time. Do I have the energy? That's the question, ultimately. Happy Singles Awareness Day, by the way.
Is that officially?
February 15th is National Singles Awareness Day. So,
I didn't know that was an official thing.
Yeah. Well, it's only been like official for like 2 years. So, yeah.
Very good. Do you have to do anything specific?
No, we all just gather around a pole and complain.
Okay.
So it's very similar to Festivus, yeah.
Hey, you've got 1 month. You've got through the end of March here, the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. They're offering scholarships to high school seniors and college students. They've got a humanities and art scholarship, STEM scholarships, character scholarships, continuing education scholarships, thanks to the Hayes Family Trust. Go on to RoswellNMHistory.com to download applications and get them turned in by March 31st to be considered for, $1,250 scholarships. You need free money? Yep. There's a chance for you to get it.
It is good.
So
good stuff.
You got to get on the stick to get that done. You got a month, 1 month warning. All right. It's 8 o'clock. We'll be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump's first challenger for the 2024 GOP presidential nomination formally rolls out her campaign today with an event in Charleston.
Nikki Haley, a former South Carolina governor and UN ambassador, released a video yesterday declaring her candidacy.
Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections. That has to change.
Today's event in Charleston marks the first time Haley will appear in public as a declared White House hopeful. Her home state holds a critical early primary that influences the fate of the GOP nomination. Haley is the first major Republican to officially challenge Donald Trump, but she'll hardly be the last. I'm Julie Walker.
Been a vigil for the 3 Michigan State University students killed in this week's attack on the East Lansing campus. 5 other MSU students injured by the gunman who later took his own life when he was confronted by police, and there has been no word on a motive. Americans went shopping last month, stepping up their spending following a weak holiday shopping season.
Retail sales jumped 3% in January after having sunk the previous 2 months. It was the largest one-month increase since March of 2021. Driving the gain was a jump in car sales along with healthy spending at restaurants, electronic stores, and furniture outlets.
That's correspondent Jeremy House. A town hall meeting on tap tonight in East Palestine, Ohio, for residents dealing with the aftermath of the toxic train derailment. They are very concerned about air and water quality. A new AP NORC poll finds American support for providing Ukraine with weapons and economic aid to fight the Russians is fading. 48% support for weapons, down from 60% early on. Wall Street, the Dow down 171 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
The UN launching a humanitarian aid appeal for Ukraine. The BBC's Imogene Folks in Geneva.
A year of war has destroyed homes, schools, hospitals and livelihoods. The UN appeal aims to provide them with life-saving support. Priorities are food and health care. Meanwhile, 4.2 million refugees in neighbouring countries such as Moldova, Poland, Romania and Slovakia will receive help too. Today's appeal is just to cover 2023, but like so many other conflicts, this war shows no signs of ending.
Nicola Sturgeon has announced that she will be stepping down as First Minister of Scotland. She has led the country's government and the Scottish National Party for 8 years and held a news conference earlier today at her official residence to make the announcement. News and analysis at townhall.com. Drive a Nissan? The automaker is recalling nearly 500,000 of them.
Nissan says the recall is for more than 463,000 older vehicles. The company says the emblem on the steering wheel can come loose when the airbag is deployed and injure drivers. The recall covers certain Frontier small pickups, Titan large pickups, and Xterra, Pathfinder, and Armada SUVs from 2008 through 2011. It also includes Quest minivans from 2008 and 2009, along with about 11,000 parts used for service. Nissan says it has received reports of 4 injuries due to the problem. I'm Mike Hempen.
Billionaire Elon Musk says he expects to find a new CEO for Twitter probably toward the end of the year. He says he needs to stabilize the organization and make sure it's in a financially healthy place. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Those deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday.
Yeah, buddy.
Hope it's going well for you.
Halfway day, hump day, whatever day.
It's going to be a little windy.
That's right.
Be warned. Even though it's already a little breezy, but it's supposed to get worse.
It's a touch breezy. It's going to be one of those hold on to your hat kind of days.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Get you a chin strap.
Mm-hmm.
Use that little cinch it up.
I was mad yesterday because I didn't have my hat. I really wished I had, because I've reached that age where my hair is like it's a thinness that I didn't even know was possible.
When you get older, it happens.
It's just I didn't think the actual hairs themselves would get thin, but if there's like a 5-mile-an-hour wind, I look like I'm wearing a toupee. My hair just does this thing.
Mm-hmm. It's going to get worse the older you get.
I know. Tell me about it. I'm thinking about just going crop, because I mean, based on filters I've seen, I think I would be a pretty good looking bald guy.
I at some point wonder if I'm going to have to go that direction. Mm-hmm. But I got to be honest.
It's a lot to maintain. Admittedly.
That's the thing. It's a lot of work to be bald.
Right.
My brother-in-law, he's follically challenged too, and he has been since like his 20s.
Right.
So he's gone. He went bald early and keeps it big shaved bald. Like reflection in your scalp bald.
And that's the thing. Once you commit to bald as this is your look, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no going back from that point. I mean, you can't really Rogaine your way out of that situation. You're Vin Diesel or bust. I mean, or you just end up looking sloppy. I mean,
see, I keep getting Michael Chiklis. No one's calling me Vin Diesel. I get Michael Chiklis, not Vin Diesel.
You ever done the bald filter though, just to see? Just
I've actually been bald. Remember?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like now. I'm talking about like recently. Just to see, because heads
to be
change.
honest, every morning I look in the mirror, I see that image in my head. I'm like, it's bald.
Well, because the other thing too is once you commit and you shave it, you forget this is covered up your whole life, so there's no tan there. So there's going to be a real farmer's tan situation going on. I'm old. I'm at that point now where in the summer, I got to worry about the dome because my hair is not thick enough to block the UV rays. Dude,
and I burn up
Literally,
here.
last summer, I was sunburned on my scalp. And I'm like, this is not a thing I've ever experienced before.
Welcome to getting older, man.
Combs should not hurt.
Stinks getting older. And that's what happens.
Son of a gun.
Yeah. That's all right. And that's just it. I part of me says, but then part of me, I don't want to. I don't want to go through the maintenance. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm ready to look at me sans without hair.
I feel like, just based on what I've seen through like filters, I feel like I'd be okay with it.
Yeah.
For the time being, I'm going to, stick with what I have for as long as I can.
And I'm trying to,
you just based on
I just have a lot of head. That's what I'm afraid of. If I get rid of the hair.
Do yourself a favor.
It's like, how
Jump
much head
I know
is
you don't
there?
have like Instagram or Snapchat or anything, but I think Facebook has like filters.
Yeah.
Go to like the Facebook pictures and try to find one of those bald filters just to see what your head looks like. I've taken pictures and I feel like, now granted it's a filter, so it's not necessarily accurate, but I feel like I've got a good head shape for bald.
You could probably pull it off.
Yeah.
You could pull it off. And you're tall too, so no one's looking at the top of your head.
That is true.
See, I'm short and bald, so it's right there like, hello, hi, hello, my baby, hello, my darling, right there on top of my head.
I also had bad experiences with that because when I was a kid, the haircut style was called a burr. It was, where you get it trimmed down to where it was just like, a one all the way over.
That's kind of where I'm at now when I do cut my hair, and then I grow it out thinking it'll be better, and it's not.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But that was, I did not like having no hair. Like when I was a kid, that's the only other time I've never had, I was bald. I hated it.
Yeah.
It was the worst.
I'm not going to lie. Ever since I joined the United States military and they shaved my head, my hair has never come back quite the same since then. Since that day. And now, granted, I didn't consider myself bald until later, but that forehead always slowly with a little bit higher after shaving my head and it coming back and I don't
know if it was the shave though. You were in the military. You guys were basically like, here, take this. See what this does to you.
This is true. I have taken a lot of things that
pop
probably
these and see what happens.
Are going to give me a third tail at some point. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, could be.
It's not the shave. It's the saltpeter.
Yeah, or we're after 8, right?
Yeah,
I got married. That's a difference.
I love just checks clock. Wife is working. Let it fly.
I got married. That might contribute to it too a little bit.
Understand? I got kids, so
Right. Coming soon to a theater near you. Acreage of skin on the top of your head. But yeah, so it is. At this point, I just accepted it. I'm fine with it.
This is what when I say it's thinning, I don't mean like the amount of it is less. The hair itself is becoming thinner. I had what I thought was what I thought was a cat hair drift into my eye the other day. I'm like, what the? And I pulled it, and it was my hair that had drifted down. And I only know because I felt pain here in this part of my head. Like, what the heck?
Wait till, and you're probably already hitting it in certain parts of your body. But wait till you wake up one morning and there's a eyebrow hair that suddenly is 2 inches long, and you're like, "What happened here?"
And like dummy thick.
Yeah, like where did this come from?
Like barbed wire thick, just one. I've had that happen. Yeah,
yeah, and you're like, "Where did that come from?" And I like the other day, I was sitting there and I was like, all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Then I'm like, "Oh my, that's attached to my skin." And then I went home and trimmed it, but I'm like, "Where did that gnarly thing come from?"
And for a split second, I was like, "I just wish any hair on my body was that thick still."
Right?
That's the thickest thing.
I move this up here, and I don't care if my head looks like a wire brush. At least it's covered.
It's fine. Call me Brillo. I'm good.
All right, man. Now I'm getting back to more psychoanalyst therapy myself. This is a bad day. I'm gonna fall off. I'm gonna have a moment later today, just myself,
just Mike in a mirror, single tear,
eating a Dove bar. All right, it is 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Like I said, we have Aaron. I believe it's Balik. I'm going to ask him to correct me here in a little bit. But with the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District, talking about some things that are going on here in Roswell through that some people want to put on their radar, and for others who have no idea what the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District does, we'll learn you on that.
Give you an education.
So we'll do all that here in just a few. Yeah. But first, here is your weather. Gonna be windy. Not favorable for water.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. With a cold front moving through the area, we'll be getting very gusty wind through the day, as high as 50 or 55 miles per hour. And we may get some clouds through about midday, but sunshine this afternoon, and we stay cool with our high in the low to mid 50s. Overnight, clear and cold, dropping to a low of about 20 and still windy. Then not as gusty on Thursday, sunshine, and we're in the low 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 45 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity, I scrolled down too low. Give me a second. Humidity's at 40%. Winds currently out of the south at 16 miles per hour. We do have a wind advisory. That's going to take effect at 10 a.m. this morning. That will remain in effect through 5 p.m. this evening. Mostly sunny today and a high of 53. That's the good news of the weather forecast. The rest, not as pleasant. Winds will be out of the south. Thank you. 20 to 25 miles per hour this morning, increasing out of the west, 30 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour later today. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 20. Winds will be out of the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny, highs near 41 with north winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 19. So the night's still chilly. Winds out of the northwest at around 5 miles per hour. Things start warming up a bit Friday. We'll be back up near 50 on Friday. Southwest winds 5 to 10. And then the weekend looking nice. And we're getting into the 70s at some point, too. Saturday, sunny and 62. Mostly cloudy, but 69, so pushing 70 on Sunday. For President's Day Monday, we're looking at partly cloudy skies and breezy. High of 72, and we'll be in the right around 70 on Tuesday as well. So warmer temps are on the way. But you got to get through the wind first. All right, it is 8:16. We're going to take about a 3.5-minute commercial break, and then we will talk water on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. There's always something new and exciting waiting for you. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all of Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecued fried rice in town. All made fresh. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at the Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in New Mexico, but it's preventable. If you have high blood pressure or cholesterol, are overweight, smoke, or have other risk factors, it's time to talk to a cardiologist. The cardiology team at Artesia General Hospital has the experience and latest diagnostic technologies to help you identify your risk factors and diagnose and treat any heart health concerns you might face. One beat at a time, we're here for every heart. Request your cardiology appointment today at artesiageneral.com/heart.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer. It's time to stock up on beef. Do it the most affordable way by buying a whole or half beef from Runyon Cattle. A whole beef feeds a family of 4 for nearly a year. Buy your meat in bulk for about $6 a pound. Skip the store and skip the wait lines. Beef isn't something that you should have to wait on. Stock up on New Mexico homegrown grass-fed and grass-finished beef today by calling Lisa with Runyon Cattle at 760-5655. That's 760-5655. Delivered to your home freezer.
Roswell Skin Center is here to provide comprehensive skin care to southeastern New Mexico in a friendly and warm environment. Dr. Cometti and his team continue to offer a full scope of medical and cosmetic dermatology services, from treating skin cancer to helping you look your best. Roswell Skin Center is proud to introduce Anna Ingalls, licensed esthetician who specializes in cosmetic treatments, including laser rejuvenation, hair removal, facials, chemical peels, and more. Anna is accepting new patients, and when you schedule your first treatment, you can receive $50 off and begin earning valuable discounts to be enjoyed throughout the year. Schedule with Anna by calling 575-208-2509, and for more info on our services and rewards, go to roswellskin.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
Now I'm addicted to beef and bacon. Good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, Aaron Bullock, who is with the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District. Not say artisan like I did the other time. But good morning, Aaron. How are you today?
I am well. Thank you for having me. Well, always a pleasure.
Well, we appreciate. Of course, we did get to talk a little bit ago, and we kind of gave, for folks that were listening that day, a little bit of background about what the this conservancy district does and what the role of it is. But before we kind of talk about what we want to put on people's radar today, let's, for folks that didn't catch our first conversation, give a little bit of background and explain what the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District, A, kind of why it's created, and B, what they do. What's the big picture goal of what this organization does?
Sure, and I assume we have 8 to 10 hours to cover this thoroughly. In a nutshell, the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District was created through authorizing legislation, and we have the simple and laughable task of conserving the waters of the Pecos Valley.
Yes.
And so since 1938, the PVACD has been striving to do just that. We have an incredibly dynamic resource in our artesian aquifer, and it has been through the management that PVACD has put in place to try and keep that healthy.
Absolutely.
And to that end, I'll say this. I spoke with a very reputable hydrologist not too terribly long ago, and he wrapped it up pretty well. He told me, if you guys can keep doing what you've been doing, you have an infinite water supply. And that didn't happen on accident. That
exactly.
was
That's a lot of planning.
Of planning and a lot of effort and a lot of resources expended to keep this aquifer healthy.
Yeah.
And so far it's been working. And
Absolutely.
So that's what we're trying to do is stay the course.
Absolutely. You know, where Aaron's going to kind of, because of what his position is here, but in a nutshell, he's got to be a little bit more correct about this. But in a nutshell, you just look at our water situation here in southeast New Mexico. You don't get on the news here and hear about Roswell or Carlsbad or anything, water lawns on every other days, or any of the stuff you hear that's going on in Bernalillo County and other parts of the state on the regular basis. And of course we live, and people are like, well, of course we live in the desert and all this stuff. But because of, we have this aquifer here, and we're blessed with plenty of water. But had this Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District not been there to keep tabs, pardon the pun, on the water here, it would have probably been pilfered, stolen, people with more power and more money taking what they want versus, you always hear the jokes about our water rights and our things with Texas, and you hear whiskeys for drinking, waters for fighting. There's truth to that.
There really is. And to your point, I think we would have lost what we have, for lack of a better word, out of ignorance. It was because the people of this valley recognized that we had this incredible resource, and saw what was going on. And essentially what was going on was a tremendous amount of waste. We didn't know, back in the late 1800s, we didn't know how to construct an artesian well.
And they're probably thinking, look, we got a bunch of underwater water here. It's flowing like, it's here for eternity.
It's here forever.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the drive that created the district, was recognizing we have to think about what we're doing. And an interesting side note on that, and it kind of leads into what we're talking about today. Some of the legislation that was born in this valley has now been adopted throughout the West, and it's this concept of what we call conjunctive management.
So basically, they're now getting the picture as like, hey, we should do what they're doing.
Yep.
But hopefully, it's not.
And no one else until then, no one else had viewed the flow of the river in relation to what the aquifer does. And that concept was born here in the Pecos Valley, being able to say, well, if you're going to try and manage a river, you have to manage the groundwater, because you have to recognize that and it's a very dynamic link, but it is linked. And so most of the western states have adopted a conjunctive management stance. They understand you can't pump groundwater right next to the river, and you have to recognize those links where it is connected.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of a point of pride that was born here in the Pecos Valley as well.
Well, and this goes to my point in getting a little political here into the bigger picture thing, but this goes to my point about this is what the Artesian Conservancy District is a fine example of what happens when you let the people with the boots on the ground in the place dictate proper green energy and proper use of our resources. It's back to this thing, you always hear like oil and gas and, it's money versus the environment and all that. And I'm like, no, it's not. We can do both. And we have the science, we have the know-how, but you got to let the experts, the people that actually sit. Do you think people in the oil and gas that live here and everything don't want to contaminate water? They don't want to do all these things that these industries are accused of. And if you let the people that do this every day, you'll figure out these problems and so on. And that's what the Conservancy District is a case in point. These, for years, these farmers, ranchers, people that been working the land and working this for a long time, they're the folks that basically over the generations have conserved this water and put these practices in place that we're now seeing the fruits of that labor. And now the rest of the state's kind of saying, dang, we should have done that. Give me that water. Let me do it. And now that you kind of have a role is like, no, we got to protect what we got. But at the same time, well, this is what we do. You do it. But at the same time, we got to protect here because we were good stewards of the water. That shouldn't be a punishment for us. And that's kind of a part of what, what you guys do too is making sure we have the water and making sure those resources aren't abused or properly managed, and loaning and appropriating out in ways that we will be glad to help. But at the same time, we're not going to rob Peter to pay Paul here. We're going to make sure Peter's got covered too,
Right. And well, so I spend all day, every day talking about water. It's literally what I do. And so on the state level, there's this year in particular, water has kind of come to the forefront as something that the state of New Mexico needs to address. And there's a lot of community push to come up with solutions, particularly as it pertains to groundwater. And groundwater, you can't just say the term groundwater and it apply to New Mexico. Every place is different. Every aquifer is different. And the one thing I can say that other parts of the state can learn from us is what the key to our success has been. It's local.
Gotcha.
I serve at the pleasure of an elected 5-member board of directors. And trust me, these people spend every day thinking about what they can do to ensure that future generations
These are the real
experts.
Do.
Absolutely.
Not people in D.C.
Right.
that got appointed to some committee.
Right. And so you don't have this detached management system. You have a local management system. And so I've been preaching that across the state, that's something you can borrow from us. We're happy to tell you what worked and what didn't work. And that's one of the things that did work is is having that local governing body that takes action on behalf of the entire community. So the boundaries of the PVACD are from about 20 miles north of Roswell and run down to Seven Rivers right there at Brantley. And so everything in the valley is within the boundaries of the district. And
Gotcha.
that district was formed in that shape. It ties back to where the aquifer lies. And so we understood that everybody was affected by that aquifer.
Mm-hmm.
The banks are affected. The grocery stores are affected.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do in Roswell.
You need water.
Your interest is tied to water, and
Yes.
not just the water that comes out of your tap when you go to get a glass of water, but also the water that is fueling the economy in this part of the state. And
right.
so
You use like, well, I'm city water. But guess what? That water's coming from the same
absolutely,
place.
and the city's done a great job
Yeah,
of maintaining a water portfolio.
Yeah.
And in fact, we're in a partnership with the city to try and raise water awareness so that you're not watering the sidewalk when your sprinklers come on and things like that. Just because we have it, we do need to conserve it.
Sure.
We need to use it wisely.
But because of that good management, we're not in the dire straits moments like where we're telling people don't water plants on certain days. Now, granted, we're like, hey, don't be at high noon in July watering your plants because that's just dumb.
Absolutely.
But it's like, okay, it's Wednesday. Sorry, I can't water today because I can only water on Tuesdays or whatever.
Right.
We don't have those issues.
Right.
And it's because directly from what's going on from the Conservancy District.
Absolutely.
That's a direct result of that.
So part of that, a big component of that is the way the state of New Mexico has chosen to manage water. And that's we borrowed this or stole this, if you will, from Spain. And the concept is called prior appropriation. And so we operate under the prior appropriation doctrine. And if you think of a stream and you're an early settler and you find this little stream and it's enough to water your little farm, and so you start watering your farm and life is good, and then someone moves in just upstream from you and there's enough water for both of you. And this continues to happen until you enter a dry spell, and now there's not enough water for everyone.
Gotcha.
Prior appropriation doctrine says that the earliest right is the better right.
Mm-hmm.
So that introduces this concept of what we call a priority date.
Gotcha.
That's
Okay.
the date when you first started appropriating or using that water. And so you have a chronology of water rights. The most senior is the best water right, and so on. So
Gotcha.
in times of shortage, if there's curtailment required, not enough water to go around, the one that's the most junior will get the least amount of water.
Gotcha.
And the one that's the most senior will get their full amount of water.
Gotcha.
And so I'm oversimplifying, and please don't think I'm an attorney. I'm not.
You're just trying to get a layman's kind of perspective
Absolutely.
on this, and
Absolutely.
that's what because I don't know, and to be honest, I kind of want some more on because I know. And this is just to understand, so I understand the listening audience. Obviously, we city folks that you pay a water bill to the city. That's your water allotments and things like that. You're paying on usage and things. Obviously, for farmers and ranchers, it's a little bit different. They're not in the city. They don't get, for the most part here. I don't think any farmer ranchers in the city, but anyway. But I'm sure they get allotted, like you said, X amount of water rights depending on their scenario. But also too, they can basically go to like the bank and lease more water if need be and things. I'm kind of curious, how does that process work, and how does the pricing and all that? Is there like a market like gold that dictates the price of water, or is it something that comes from an entity higher than you, or do you guys, based on supply and demand, get to control that price of water? How does all that work? I'm kind of curious.
So everybody that has a water right, and this we start using terms it's easy to get lost in.
Sure.
Not to be confused with a domestic well. So if you have a house out of town, you have a well in the backyard, that's called a domestic well.
Okay.
That is not a water right.
Gotcha.
That's a right to water.
So if there's water in there, it's yours.
You can use it, but you can't use it for any commercial means.
Gotcha. You can't say, I'm going to start a 20-acre farm here and sell crops.
So a great analogy is, can I water a pecan tree in my yard? The answer is yes. You can have a pecan tree.
Gotcha.
Unless you sell a nut from it.
And then you start, if you start at Grandma's Nut Company,
if you're selling something from it, you can raise a little garden. off a domestic well
for personal use or gifts or whatever.
But if you're taking those fruits and vegetables to the farmer's market, now you're a farmer.
Okay.
And so now you need a water right. So water is what we call appurtenant to the land. It means it's attached. So there's two components to that. We call it the point of diversion. That's the well.
Okay.
A water right can't live without a home. Its home is that point of diversion. That's the well.
Makes sense.
It also can't live unless it has a place of use. It has to go to work every day. Where's it going to be working? And so it's identified by that acre of land.
Okay.
So when you buy a water right, you buy 1 acre of water right. That means you're allowed to water 1 acre, a specific acre, and you can put 3.5 acre feet on that acre.
Okay.
And an acre is roughly the size of a football field.
Give or
take,
take,
and if you imagine a foot of water standing on that, that's 1 acre foot.
Okay.
So throughout the course of the year,
you got 100 yards of water and a foot tall, basically.
Yes. And so throughout the course of the year, you will have used 3.5 feet of water out there. So it's a lot of water. For
gallons, that's a lot. I mean, that's what 2 Olympic swimming pools, about the size of Olympic. When you take the water and everything.
Yeah, right. So that is the allocation that you're allowed to use under a water right. So for municipal use, when the city has to have a water right so that they can pump that water that's going to go to your house.
Gotcha.
And so they buy a water right. That water is not going on a field anymore. So its place of use is going to be somewhere in the city.
Consumed as in drank
right. And the consumption changes because you don't get what we call return flow. You're not putting it out on a field and then some of that water
comes
soaking
back
into
to
the ground
aquifer.
And going back to the aquifer. And it's really interesting to me, the nature of water. Because the legal philosophy is that's a personal, private property right as long as you're using it. So if you have a legal right to divert it, that's your water until you're done with it, i.e. you put it on your field. When it soaks into the ground and returns to the aquifer, now it becomes community property again.
Gotcha.
It's up to the state engineer to allocate. Now your neighbor is pumping from that same aquifer and pulling that water up. That water has been reappropriated to them. And so this prior appropriation doctrine gets a little bit complicated when you add this groundwater component to it, because it works real well in people's head, including mine, when we're talking about a stream. Because you look at the stream, well, not enough is getting down. The most senior gets their water first, and so on. With groundwater, it's much more complicated, especially as it relates to the river.
Gotcha.
And so part of what happened in this valley was there was a lot of surface water streams and canal systems, and this was before we had discovered that artesian aquifer. So the proximity of your farm to that ditch was pretty important. You couldn't make that water run uphill. So you had to be close enough to a system that was watering an area, and that's how you received your water, and we call that surface water.
Okay.
And so when we discovered this groundwater that had this miracle of pressure behind it, and somebody was smart enough to drill a hole deep enough to hit that, it flowed to the surface. And so it changed the entire dynamic here.
Okay.
And so what we saw happening was people putting in wells, migrating away from that surface water diversion to a groundwater diversion that was, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, was they started out with a surface water right, and they called their well a supplemental well to supplement that surface water, probably because of diminishing surface water.
Sure.
And so when the state engineer issued that priority date, they may have been diverting this water in the 1800s.
Gotcha.
But the water right has stayed on that piece of property for decades. So maybe in 1930, the owner of that farm said, you know what, I've got the money now. I'm going to put in a well because I'm not getting enough water from my ditch.
Sure.
The state engineer issued him a priority date based on the year he put in that well.
Okay.
And so now that creates a problem because he gave up that better right unknowingly and exchanged it for a more junior right. And so what we're talking about today is the district court, in adjudicating this, has said, you know what, we need to look at how that water could relate back.
Okay.
And so that's the message that I want to deliver to anybody that owns a water right.
Sure.
If their priority date is pre-1947, that's the magic date there.
This 1947 keeps popping up around Roswell.
Yes, and that's tied to the compact. The compact refers to the 47 condition of the river, and so we in the valley tend to think of any pre-47 water right as a quote senior water right.
Okay,
and everything after that tends to get lumped in as a junior water right, and it's a little bit of a misnomer, but it works.
Okay.
So the message is, if you have one of those pre-47 water rights, talk to an attorney.
Okay.
That is absolutely the message, because it may relate back.
Sure.
And there's through looking at records, there's a ton of ways to get there, and this is where a water rights attorney is important. But you need to check that out. If you own a pre-47 water right, go talk to your legal advisor, go out to the state engineer's office, ask questions. It may relate back. There may be maps that show, and we may have them at our office. We've spent a little time studying on this.
Okay.
Absolutely feel free to give me a call. Our number there is 622-7000.
Yeah, let's do a little research.
Absolutely. And it's worth looking into, because what it may mean is that you have a much more senior water right than we thought. Now,
which means that prioritizes you're getting water in the event we lose some.
when we fall under that, what we call a priority call, and just as a backdrop to all of this, the majority of the water rights in Carlsbad are very senior. So, and this is a long argument that we've yet to really have, but Carlsbad looks upstream and says, wait a minute, we're not getting our full allocation of 3.697 acre feet per acre. And the people upstream of us are. We want a priority call. And, my position is, now wait a minute, these people can't be held accountable for what's not in storage upstream at Fort Sumner at Santa Rosa.
It's not their fault.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It is. But it's called a act of God, whatever you call it. Yeah.
But nonetheless, that's the legal reality that we're in. If they make that priority call and the state engineer says, okay, I have to curtail.
Sure.
Now we have to go back and really study those priority dates.
Sure.
And that could mean all the difference. If you have, in this hypothetical,
sure,
today you've got a 1946 priority date, but your water right relates back to 1885. Now you have a very senior water right.
Gotcha.
And you wouldn't fall, you wouldn't be affected in the same way by that priority call.
Excellent. Now, does the water right attach to the land? So it doesn't matter who owns it.
That is correct.
So it's with the land. So like you talk about, it's like, what does one family? Well, if the family keeps the land, then in essence you're passing that water right to the next generation. But if they sell the land, whoever bought it now has those senior water rights because they own the land, right? Or is that changed?
And it's more complicated than that, because you can sever the water right from the land.
Okay, so you can sell the land without having the water right.
So if you have a farm and I have a farm down the street and I don't have enough water right for my farm, I bought 100 acres, but I only have 10 acres of water right.
Right.
You want to build a grocery store on your land and you sell me your water right. So I'll file an application with the state engineer.
Okay.
He'll do the hydrological study to make sure that we're not having a negative
impact.
So
the rights you own them, it's not necessarily attached to the land if you choose not to.
Right. We can attach it to my land now.
Okay, I got
And so we file that change of point of diversion and place of use.
Okay.
And now that water right lives on my farm, and that if your farm was served by a surface system, that water rights priority date would relate back.
Okay.
And so that's why it's so important to know where your water right came from.
So if you say you own the water right but not the land anymore, at some point you die, do you have to surrender the water right back to the land, or does it go on to who you bequeath it to, or whatever?
It goes back to the state of New Mexico.
Okay.
So one of the tenets of prior appropriation doctrine is beneficial use.
Okay.
And that's the concept that you're free to make a claim. Now, we've closed this basin, so you can't do that in the PVACD
this
anymore.
One's locked in.
Right. we're not gonna have any new diversions. But back in the day, you could decide you wanted to farm, and if you could get the water to you, you could use it. But you had to be doing something that was beneficial.
Sure.
Something that helped the economy, helped the public.
Right. You got to prove that it's for the greater good.
Yeah. And so you put that to beneficial use. You start farming with it. What any of the possible uses for water.
Okay.
As long as you're not wasting it, that's a beneficial use. That doctrine requires that you continue to use that water right. So if that in this hypothetical we're discussing, you decided to build on your land.
Sure.
That water's got to remain active, and if it doesn't, well, then you're risking forfeiting your water right.
Gotcha. Okay,
and that's
makes
for
sense.
lack of beneficial use.
Now I get why I understand why this is so confusing and why water's for fighting and whiskey's for drinking.
Right,
because it gets in the weeds.
It's not rocket science. It's much more complicated.
But at the end of the day, it's because everyone has an interest in this stake, and it literally water here is currency like gold or anything else, and so it has a huge value.
A New Mexico saying, water is life.
Yeah,
and so it is a private property right, but it's also a public good.
Sure,
and so you have to view it from both perspectives.
Sure.
And so and one more thing I want to add. So this prior appropriation doctrine has come under fire. Everybody likes to throw rocks at this and point out its flaws. The fact is, prior appropriation doctrine for water rights administration is like abstinence for birth control. It is 100% effective every time it's applied.
Makes sense.
Nobody likes that option, but the fact is, if you don't want curtailment, well, then you do something about it.
It's no different that you want to lose weight, eat less food.
Right.
That's just science, man.
So going back to this very simple scenario where we talked about you started farming off of this creek, and then I come in upstream and I start farming off of this creek. Under prior appropriation doctrine, if you're not getting your water, I have to not take any water until you get your water. Makes sense.
Sure.
But if I really want my water, what can I do?
I guess, what can you either take it or urge your guy to take theirs, and so you can get yours?
Right. So I go to you and say, what do I have to do for you to not take your water and let me take my water?
Yeah.
And that is possible. I can do that if we can find an alternative solution.
That's why it helps be neighborly.
Right. And so when you view water management from the backdrop of, okay, under a prior appropriation administration where we're going to curtail someone, people aren't going to like that. So what can we do to avoid it? And
Makes
prior
sense.
appropriation doctrine is what motivates an alternative solution.
Sure. And as long as everyone's coming to the table with the same agenda and not trying to be someone who's just trying to procure all the water and be a hoarder or something.
Right. And prior appropriation doctrine prevents that. That's that beneficial use component.
Sure.
You can't buy up a bunch of water and then just sit on it.
Right.
The scenario that started to play out in West Texas with the T. Boone Pickens buying up a bunch of water rights and hanging on to them because he knew it was a scarce commodity and was only going to become more scarce.
You can't do that.
That can't happen here because he's got to prove that he's using it.
Well, and that's
he's going to have to farm if he wants to do that.
And to be honest, that water, like you said, we're talking a currency, but at the end of the day, it's more powerful than that money because people can't live without water. It doesn't mean you can live without money as long as you can access water and food.
Right.
But water is you can't. You got to have it. We're made up mostly of it. We got it to live.
And you kind of made a slip there because you said and food.
Yeah, exactly.
and you
guess what you can't have without food, water.
And I tell people that too when we get talking about water throughout the West.
Yeah,
a lot of people are rightfully concerned about water scarcity.
Sure.
And I tell people, look, we're not ever going to run out of enough water to drink.
Sure.
We can afford. I can go down to the convenience store and pay $1 or $2 and come away with a bottle of water.
Sure. But if you want to have anything, if you want farming, ranching industry life here.
Exactly. And that, so what we're doing in the West is we're very slowly exporting our ability to feed ourselves. We're using that water for
taking it a nickel
purposes.
at a time, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're drying up these farms, taking that water out of production and using it for municipal uses or whatever, commercial uses. And that farm, its product is no longer being produced here. The demand is still there for it.
Sure.
So somewhere else in the world, there's a higher demand, so it's being grown there.
So
we're exporting our ability to feed ourselves. So if we've liked being dependent on foreign energy, we're going to love being dependent on foreign food.
Sure.
Because we're setting ourselves up for that scenario.
Well, and I've heard like politicians talking, and they talk little, during election cycles and things, and I'd hear some politicians talking about, water and water rights. And one of the things I was kind of curious about is, obviously with the aquifers and things, water's finite. It is what it is. It's coming and things. But, scientists and everyone else are always looking for other ways to bring more. And you hear politicians talking about brackish water and things that New Mexico is in abundance of. Is that the future for us? Is that we're going to take that water and figure out a way to make it soluble for other uses and things? Is that going to be the answer? Or is it we just keep doing conservancy and keep hoping that thing don't dry up in anybody's lifetime anytime soon?
Well, this is where it gets tricky, and I think Alan Jackson summed it up pretty well. He said it won't take too long; it'll just take money.
Sure,
we can use brackish water. Absolutely, we can apply a desalinization process
sure.
and make that water potable, and we can farm with it. But that's really expensive water.
So it's a very expensive process,
right.
but can be done.
I had this conversation with a water manager in San Diego, and as you're probably aware, they're pretty close to a substantial amount of salt water sitting on the coast there.
Sure.
And so it just made sense to me. And I said, what is your future with desal? And he said, in the next 40 years, we anticipate that approximately 2% of our supply is going to come from desal.
Okay.
And I said, wait a minute, just 2%. You've got a whole ocean sitting there waiting. And he said, it's expensive.
Sure. Until they figure out a cheaper way to do it.
And under the market conditions, it's cheaper to seek out ag land.
Sure.
And buy that water right. And that's the problem that we as a nation need to think long and hard about is, do we pursue that more expensive alternative for municipal uses? Because at the end of the day,
sure,
it's still pretty cheap to the end user.
Absolutely.
Because
the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Right.
It just isn't.
But the long-term consequences, and I've often wanted to commission a cartoonist to create the following image: a big storage tank with a tap on the side of it that says agriculture. And that's the way agriculture is viewed. We're a warehouse to store water for other uses.
Yeah, and it's like,
because we're the cheapest. It's still
right.
Water is incredibly expensive to you and I. But when you get talking about in the big picture, water's still pretty cheap.
Sure, makes sense.
And it's that cheap water that is fueling this, and that's going back to what the PVACD does, is keeping our finger on that pulse.
Sure.
And recognizing that the monetary value of water is only a small component of that. The long-term value of that same water has got a multiplier attached to it that I've been unable to calculate, because there's value in keeping our whole valley vibrant, because we do have the agriculture, and because we have the agriculture, and dairy is agriculture, but it's a good mental exercise where the feed goes from the hay fields to the dairy, to the cow. The milk is processed through a commercial process here in the valley, and cheese is made, and we're exporting that commodity.
Well, you talk about the futures and all that, and at the end of the day, it's you want to see humanity thrive and keep going for generations. Follow the water.
Absolutely.
As long as there's water, we can do it.
Right.
Till we run out of it, then we're screwed.
Right.
But till that day happens, we can keep thriving, and that's at the end of the day what we got to keep doing towards. So whether it's desalinization, where I would imagine technology at some point is going to allow that cost of doing that to come down. Like they're going to figure out a way to do it cheaper, better.
And
time will allow that to happen.
The oil field's a good example of that. There's a type of water that we call produced water.
Sure.
And it's water that is brought to the surface through the process of extracting oil or oil and gas. And it's got contaminants in it, primarily salts, and the oil industry likes to use clean water when they're doing their operations, whether it's fracking or drilling. It's just the ability for them to mix their components that go into those operations is a lot simpler when you have clean water to start with, instead of having to account for all these minerals and whatnot.
Sure, other deposits and things in there that could mess things up.
But when you add in the cost of getting that fresh water to those locations, it changes that scenario a little bit. And a lot of the oil companies have looked at that and said, now, wait a minute, we've got this supply here, and yeah, it's not ideal the way it is, but what's it going to cost us to get that to a point where we can use it?
Sure.
And the state has been real receptive in saying, okay, now that's a kind of a whole new category of water, because you really don't have a water right to be diverting that, but it's coming up, and right now we're making you pump it back into the ground. What do we do with that?
Sure.
And so the oil and gas has and the money, like you mentioned, has driven that. It makes economic sense
the
for them to
juices start
say,
being worth the squeeze.
okay,
now.
so now what can I do to this produced water? Is it feasible? And in a lot of circumstances, it is.
Sure.
To say, you know what, we can clean this up to a point where it works for what we need it to do.
To me, this is all evolutionary. This is where we're at now, but in a few years, we're going to figure it out and get better, and it'll be something that we talk about. What a great idea to the norm and how it's done, and that's just the way it is. We're running out of time, but if anybody has any questions, especially if you have some of these old water rights and you're thinking, well, maybe there's some I need to talk to somebody here. Please reach out to the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District. What's the best way to get a hold of you, Aaron, if people have questions? Or
Call the office right now. I'm a moving target. As you know, the legislature's in session. There's a lot of water-related bills that we're really interested in. And I want to give a shout-out to our elected representatives and state senators and representatives. They're doing a great job of representing
They get what you're trying to
New
do
Mexico.
in there.
Absolutely. But if you have a pre-47 water right, if you receive something in the mail from the state engineer, you've got 60 days to respond to that. If you don't receive something in the mail, don't wait on that.
Sure.
Check it out. It's worth the effort.
Don't get surprised later.
Yes. Go get some legal advice and find out if you have a water right that relates back, and maybe it's not worth the effort, but on the other hand, it really might be worth the effort.
You won't know until you take a look at it.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me in.
Anytime. I'd love to have you. And I know you're a busy man and all over the place, but I'd love to, even if there's not a particular issue we want to talk about, I love just educating the public and and myself really and talking about these conversations, because once you understand how everything works, it starts to make more sense. You scratch your head, why do they do it this way? Well, if you do this, now I get it. And water rights is one of those areas where there's a lot of people, why is it done this way? And then you look back and okay, now it makes sense.
Sure. I'll leave you with this. The next time I come in, hopefully in the very near future, it's going to be to invite people to an open house. We are building a new facility.
Oh, nice.
We're at 2303 East 2nd Street. And we are building a new facility, and I hope to be moving into that here within the next couple months.
Nice.
It's coming along great. We've been planning this for over 10 years, and we're finally getting to a point where we can see the light at the end of the tunnel here.
COVID and everything else is
we are going to try and do some sort of grand opening where we invite people down and have this conversation in person.
Love to do that.
And love to have you out there. So thank you for having me in.
Anytime, Aaron. Appreciate the visit. Appreciate the information. We do. We appreciate all the hard work you're doing for this community. So we look forward to that visit. We look forward to the open house, and we look forward to, I wonder, you guys serving water at the? I'm just kidding.
We'll be importing water.
That's right. They got the nicest water fountains at the new facility there. So.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
All right, it is 8:58. Let's take a quick break before news. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect, and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Palestine, Ohio will be attending a town hall meeting this evening looking for answers to their concerns about the air and water. The impact of yesterday's deadly crash of a tanker truck in Arizona still being felt. Hazardous material leaked onto an interstate outside Tucson, shutting down part of the highway and forcing evacuation.
The Arizona Department of Public Safety says a shelter-in-place order has been reinstated for a 1-mile perimeter around the incident on I-10 southeast of downtown Tucson, where they anticipate extensive closures. Residents are being advised to turn off heaters and air conditioning systems that bring in outside air. The tractor truck was leaking liquid nitric acid, and officials say while crews were attempting to remove the hazardous load, gassing occurred. Officials say the driver was killed in a rollover following a collision. I'm Julie Walker.
A sentencing hearing now underway in Buffalo, New York for the man who fatally shot 10 people in a racially motivated attack at a supermarket last May. The hearing suspended briefly when a relative of one of the victims lunged at Peyton Gendron in the courtroom. The hearing has since resumed. Closed-door briefing for senators on the recent shoot-down of unidentified flying objects, raising many questions. Republican Tom Cotton is slamming the Biden administration for its handling of the matter.
On the one hand, the administration is saying we don't yet know what these last 3 objects are, and we don't want to characterize until we recover them. But on the other hand, it wasn't a threat. Both of those things can't be true. So that's why it's urgent that President Biden resolve these contradictions.
Retail sales jumped 3% last month, according to the government. And watching Wall Street, the Dow is down 156. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We're entering a time of increasing hostility against people of faith. A time when Christians are going to be tested on a moral and physical and financial basis, unlike any other time in our lifetime. I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author, evangelical leader, here to remind you that you have to take action to protect and steward what God has given you. For example, record high inflation is going to continue to eat away at the dollar, and the savings of your retirement account is in danger. Fortunately, God does provide a way. To protect your retirement, I recommend diversifying your 401k or IRA out of paper and into physical gold. And the best way to do that is with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. Now, to see how it works, just text the word faith to 989898. That'll give you access to a free info kit on gold IRAs. There are no strings attached, so text FAITH, F-A-I-T-H.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
News and analysis at townhall.com. Time is running out for a last-ditch attempt to keep California's last remaining nuclear plant going.
A state analysis predicts it will take federal regulators until late 2026 to act on an application to extend the operating run of the Diablo Canyon nuclear power plant. However, the plant is scheduled to shut down permanently by mid-2025. Operator Pacific Gas and Electric is asking the Nuclear Regulatory Commission for an unusual exemption that would allow the decades-old reactors to continue running while the NRC reviews an application to extend its license for as much as 2 decades. The ruling expected next month. John Scott reports.
Fans are lining up to celebrate the Kansas City Chiefs' second Super Bowl championship in 2 years. Revelers bundling up against a chilly wind. They line the streets in front of Union Station. That's where a victory rally is to be held today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. That's why I have music. Sorry, I was talking.
I didn't know we had a producer. I think the show starts when we start the show.
He's producing, man. Let him do his thing.
I mean, for real.
I'm not. That's Roy's supposed to keep me on target. That's what he's
Jeremy
doing.
Borash in there.
Yeah. Roy's handling things out there, but part of that deal is keeping
everybody back to work.
That's his job, man. He did right.
He did.
I'm the pompous host that just sits and does what I want.
We were being all chatty Cathy.
But welcome to our number 3.
Trace and Viernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters right here.
You really could have got me right
there.
there.
I could, but I chose not. I tried a week or so ago, and you've passed. So I'm going to let you parade that.
All right.
And I'm going to make you. I will wait in the weeds as I do, and then I will bring it at the most inappropriate time.
Knife in my teeth. Just.
I am diabolical when I want to be. And yes, I am proud of that because I generally try to be a nice guy, but I like to have a hint of a jerk because people deserve it sometimes, and that's why. I'm not saying you do. That's why I've done it. But I'm just saying some people deserve what you reap what you sow. And I know the world we live in, and everyone wants respect and everything, and I understand. But there's a very simple rule that if humans learned and abide by, we'd be in a lot better situation. Treat people how you want to treat yourself. If you treat people like jerks, they're going to treat you like jerks back. And that's simple. I don't care what your beliefs are, what you're into, who you pray to, who you whatever, or don't pray to. You are nice to people. They will be nice back. If you treat people badly, they will treat you badly.
Right.
It's a very easy thing to learn.
Turns out.
Some people can't learn that. That's why I like being a jerk.
It is the golden rule.
Yes. Crystal Noble going to join us here in just a bit with the Humane Society. Give us an update on pets available for adopciones. And I was trying to think why I went with adopciones, and then I just decided to move on from that. If you missed any part of our interview last hour, I highly recommend you go back and check it out, especially if you care about water.
If you like water?
In southeast Mexico. Aaron hit us with a wealth of information, and I love that, so appreciate that information.
Mike.
Yes.
A well of information. It was right there.
It was. Well, after our
I'm not
conversation,
mad. I'm just disappointed.
Well, if you listen to our conversation about the value of water, either pun will work appropriately.
100%. I agree that waters is more valuable than the actual money itself, and I feel like that the fact that we've sold most of our water rights away is detrimental to the future of our state.
Well, I'm just saying, all people clamoring from diamond rings and everything on Valentine's Day, I say you should have got you Aquafina. That's what you should have got.
Honey, I got you some
Dasani.
Water. That's right.
These are the new Armanis and Gucci. Dasani, Aquafina, Avion. Even that one in the shampoo bottle. What's that one called?
He went to Ozarka.
Yeah. There's that one. It's literally in a shampoo bottle. The top is shampoo.
You talking about Voss?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's Voss. It's in a glass bottle.
Yeah, it looks like Alberto Bio5.
It does. It's supposed to be better or whatever, but
it's
I don't know.
Bougie and expensive.
It is.
And they pay for a stupid shampoo bottle. That's
I do like drinking out of glass, in fairness.
Oh, a glass?
No, I mean a glass bottle.
I guess.
Like, I will argue with you, and maybe this is just because it's made different, because it's made, I think, with cane sugar.
Yeah.
Mexican Cokes are better than any other, American bottle soda.
I know there's a lot of people that love that, but because I was not raised on that,
right,
I disagree.
Okay.
To me, it tastes funky. I would rather have the Americanized version I was grown up and raised on.
So when I was in high school, I was on a mission trip in Mexico. We went to Gomez Palacio, and which is near Monterrey.
He was the guy that sang the national anthem in Naked Gun.
Yeah, that was me.
Enrico Plaza.
No. Those who know. It's near Monterrey, and we were basically building the foundation for a church they were putting in this community. But there was a store at the edge of this little town, and you could go and for 10 pesos you could buy a soda. But then if you brought the bottle back, they would give you 8 pesos back. So basically 2 pesos.
They do that here in America too.
20 cents for it. No,
if you had glass Coke bottles, you got money for them in certain states.
Yeah, but basically I had I used 20 pesos, essentially $2, to drink soda the whole day, because you could just keep refilling for 2 pesos.
Actually, 20 pesos is like 20 cents.
Well, at the time.
A peso is about a penny, not $1.
No, but at the time, it was like,
Anytime.
10. No,
this was a penny.
I was there, homie.
I've been there too.
It was like
200 pesos is like $200.
I don't remember. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fine. I've slept since then.
200 pesos is like $2.
This is why I can't get into politics, because I am so easily swayed. I remember it was like 10 or whatever, but
maybe it was 100 pesos.
The point was you got most of your money back if you brought the bottle back. So I was basically keep refilling my soda all day. Yeah. So yeah, but that bottle soda is just, in my opinion, better.
Good.
Topo Chico, better out of a bottle.
I agree. I generally prefer adult beverages in a bottle over a can.
Sure.
That's just me.
Right.
But I get that.
That's the argument that Voss is better. I mean,
I think you do you. I got some other crap to sell you if you think you want to buy Voss all the time. And
all the time, but every now and again, I like to treat myself.
To regular water in a fancy bottle.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, we're going all out.
That's right. Some people like fancy diamond rings. I like drinking my water out of a glass bottle, all right?
Rihanna over here.
That's right. That's right. It's trailer park chic, all right?
I'm going to pee in that bottle and give it to you. Like, it's fancy. Or literally pour the tap water in that thing and hand it to you. You won't even know.
Well, I should say it's called Voss. It's probably just Rich Voss sitting up there to tap in New Jersey. Just
the
filling
sweat
up.
of Rich Voss as he sweats off his show.
Just flop sweat.
All right.
That's good drinking. Some water.
That one always gets me because the bottle. That one I'm just like, what kind of bougie garbage is this hot mess? I like Fuji's a little that way too, but I don't know.
Fiji?
Fuji makes, or whatever it's called, it makes me happy. Fuji,
right?
Garbage. Yeah, same as Aquafina. Same as the stuff that I get for free from my Culligan guy that comes out of my sink.
I would argue I don't like the way Aquafina itself tastes. I would take Dasani over Aquafina.
I guess I'm not that. I'm not that sophisticated palate. It just tastes like water to me. I don't know. I never think anything about it. This has been sitting in my car for 3 weeks.
I was raised on commodities. I'm hardly a brand snob.
Yeah,
I've just noticed.
I've never saw it and said this water tastes funny. It just tastes like water to me. I never thought anything about it. So.
People who don't like to drink water, we know the difference in water.
Oh, maybe that's it. I love water.
Yeah,
like I drink gallons of it a day. I'm always going. I have a thing of water with me all the time. So.
I was committing to try to drink a gallon of water every day, and I got through one day.
Really?
Yeah, one day.
I don't measure.
I can't do this anymore.
I don't measure it, but I fill this cup about 10 times a day. So I
was drinking out of an actual a gallon jug.
No. I just fill this thing up about 10 times, and it's 40 ounces or whatever.
Straw that says how much water you're supposed
to drink at
a time. I was like, that's gonna annoy me.
Yeah. Well, see, and I do it not because if you're like physically saying, remind yourself, got to drink this water, and you go down and you're like measuring, you're going to drive yourself nuts. I just drink water when I'm thirsty, and I just get thirsty a lot, and I keep it.
I feel like I drink more water out of like a squeeze bottle, like the old
Yeah.
than I would if I had that.
And that's my logic here is basically.
I'm the same way with those the cheap bottles you get from the store. I'm more likely to drink a whole one of those in like one sitting than I am to drink water out of a glass.
Yeah.
So, but I'm weird. I'm built different. So.
Yeah, I now I have my one cup for everything.
Right.
Like literally, this goes wherever I go. At home, I'm drinking out of this thing.
See,
at work, I'm drinking out of this thing.
My dad.
Unless I'm in a restaurant, I'm drinking out of this cup.
My dad did that, and I feel like if I do that, that's me fully committing to being my father. Because he used to, and I remember the brand too, the Town and Country before Stripes was Stripes. It was Town and Country. He'd walk around with one of those cold, hot spot cold zone glasses or cups. You know the ones I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd walk around with one of those filled with water all day.
That never would fit in any kind of cup holder.
Right.
You need to get one of the Bubba cups from Allsups and create your own.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There it is.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
How many times you walked around and said, "Man, I'm thirsty," and you have no beverage in your
It's happened quite often.
I never had that problem. I got a beverage within reach almost everywhere I go.
In fairness, yours fits in a cup holder.
It does.
Huh? Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I didn't say it was filled with water. No, I'm kidding.
That's keto friendly.
Well, it is. All right, it is 16 minutes after 9. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. With that cold front moving through the area, we'll be getting very gusty wind through the day, as high as 50 or 55 miles per hour. And we may get some clouds through about midday, but sunshine this afternoon, and we stay cool with our high in the low to mid 50s. Overnight, clear and cold, dropping to a low of about 20 and still windy. Then not as gusty on Thursday, sunshine, and we're in the low 40s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 54 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 31%. Winds currently out of the south at 16, gusting to 26 miles per hour. We do have a wind advisory that's in effect, actually will get in effect at 10 o'clock this morning here in about 40 minutes, and will remain in effect through 5 p.m. this evening. Today, expect sunny skies and a high of 53. That's the good news. The rest of it, windy out of the southwest winds this morning, 25 to 30. Later today, increasing out of the west, 30 to 35, gusting as high as 50 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, overnight low of 20. Winds out of the north, 10 to 20 miles per hour. For your Thursday, cool, but less wind. High of only 41 tomorrow, but winds will only be out of the north 5 to 10 as opposed to 50-mile-an-hour gusts. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 19, so another chilly one tomorrow night. Northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, we're back near 50 under sunny skies. Southwest winds 5 to 10. And then the weekend, getting pleasant all over again. Sunny and 62 on Saturday. Sunny or mostly cloudy and 69 on Sunday, so pushing 70 on Sunday. A little breezy Sunday night with an overnight low of 44. And President's Day Monday, partly cloudy, breezy, and 72. And then we'll be 70 on Tuesday. So get through the next couple days, and then we'll get a nice little warm spell again. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9. We're going to take a 3.5-minute commercial break. Then Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society will join us on the other side. Don't go away.
Every piece of land has a story, written by those who work it. But everyone's story is different. So the question is, how will you tell yours? Behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, mower, or Gator utility vehicle. Run with us and start telling your story today.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Lots of folks are buying used vehicles these days. And you know, they're just as proud of them as if they were brand new. And why not? The pre-owned cars and trucks at Roswell Ford look and smell brand new. And Roswell Ford stands behind every pre-owned vehicle with a 3-day money-back guarantee and a complimentary 90-day 4,000-mile warranty. Roswell Ford has more than 400 vehicles in stock, by far the biggest selection in this part of the state, with new Fords arriving all the time, so it only makes sense to come see us first when you're ready to start car shopping. Speaking of pride, our customers are just tickled with our mobile service van that comes to your home or work and turns your driveway or parking lot into a service bay. We can take care of routine maintenance like oil and filter changes, tire rotations, and battery service, and you don't have to be without your vehicle. Of course, some restrictions apply. For great selection and great service, you can count on your friends at the Tailgate Nation.
Looking for a delicious lunch or dinner? Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. Dine in or carry out. Sample the best Asian cuisine in town. Try their stir-fry rice with pork, chicken, beef, or all three. How about their pad thai chicken, sesame chicken, or sweet and sour chicken? Or try their glass noodle and Thai beef salad, all made fresh to order. Dine in or call ahead and pick up at the Asian Market today.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at the Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you.
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio, now officially, I guess you could say, Crystal Noble with the Roswell Humane Society. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm good. Not liking the wind, but I'm good.
The wind is not anybody's friend. I imagine even the pets are like, I don't want to go outside today.
No.
You don't have to walk me this wind. I'll stay in my little...
No, let's just stay inside and just look outside through the windows.
And bark at things. But well, how's things at the Humane Society? We got pets that are ready to go, or everybody's healthy?
We are good. One thing, I know our groundhog said, 6 more weeks of winter, but they don't live in Roswell, so they should put the groundhog here.
Well, they didn't say for the next 6 weeks, just 6 more weeks at very random times in New Mexico.
Yeah, occasionally, it'll be winter.
Yeah, we get them, just not all consistently, next to each other.
But because we don't have a consistent winter, there's a lot of viruses that stay around all year round, and parvo is one of them.
Yeah, you've talked about parvo because our days are like, there's not really a chance for it to die out.
No.
It kind of incubates and actually comes back bigger, stronger, faster. And so
it
not only
basically mutates.
Yeah, so we're getting parvo, but you're also getting like strong cases of it where
right.
Prevention's the best medicine on this.
We actually just had 3 puppies test positive for parvo. And when I took them to the vet, they said that this week only, with one vet's office, they've had 50 cases of parvo with adult dogs and puppies.
And once a dog gets parvo, it's hard to recoup them. It's a higher probability of a death sentence. It's not guaranteed, depending on when you catch it.
It's like a 10% recoup versus a 90% not.
Exact. That's what I'm saying. That dog's probably going to have issues the rest of its life, whether it's 10 years or 2. And
treatment is extremely expensive.
And prevention's pretty easy.
It is. Prevention is cheap and easy.
Yeah.
The vaccinations are not a guarantee. But they are help,
So if they get parvo, are the symptoms less severe if they do, if they're vaccinated?
Basically, it's like when we get the flu shot. If we get the flu, it's a milder case.
Sure, makes sense.
And so, like, if you have your dog fully vaccinated, they've got their series of puppy vaccinations, their boosters every year. If your dog were to catch it, parvo, it would be a mild case. They're less likely to catch it if they're fully vaccinated versus, only one shot as a puppy and then nothing after that, because their body needs a reminder of what to fight off.
Sure. It's no different than our flu shots.
Right.
You get a little case of the dead flu there and kind of wake up the cells and say, hey, be on the lookout for this guy here. And
pretty much, yes. Yeah. And the benefit when you vaccinate your animals, it's combo. It's parvo and distemper. So you're fighting the summer and the spring, but because we typically have like a very mild winter, which is almost like a fall, so distemper runs all the way into the fall.
Okay.
And then parvo just stays all year round now because we don't have the ideal weather to kill it out.
Right.
And just have
we have
like
the ideal
a
weather for it to thrive.
We do. We basically are the breeding zone of parvo. We are a hot spot. And so with that, you have to make sure that you are vaccinating your animals. Mm-hmm. Don't take them to strange places that you're not aware of. If you're taking them out to the park and walking and your dog, takes a poop, take a bag, pick it up. Because that is what spreads.
So another dog comes up and starts sniffing it and getting into it. You're actually spreading. And if your dog had parvo, obviously.
Right. Or if, you take your dog to the park and you see another dog's feces, don't let your dog go up, sniff it, lick it, or anything.
Yeah.
Keep them away. Sense. But always clean up after your pets. That helps cut down the spreading of the viruses.
Okay.
And there's a lot of dogs that can be carriers and shed it, but never have a symptom.
Okay.
So if your dog is a carrier and sheds it, when they use the bathroom, they're shedding that virus.
So if a carrier gets a parvo vaccination, are they still carriers or I was just curious, does that eliminate that or?
No, unfortunately, the majority of puppies when they are born that end up testing positive for parvo later on were given parvo in utero from their mom.
Okay.
So their mom,
They gave them in essence a natural antibody a little bit? No?
No. So typically, like if the mom, let's say the mom was fully vaccinated and caught a mild case of the parvo,
Okay.
and then had a litter of puppies,
Okay.
she's going to be the carrier passing it down.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like a gene she, in essence, unequivocally gave to this
and
dog.
It's really weird that certain breeds are very prone to parvo. Boxers are very prone to parvo. Rottweilers, Great Danes, Dobermans, German Shepherds, they're all very prone to
Interesting.
parvo.
Wonder what the connection is between those breeds where
All of those breeds are also very prone to developing some form of cancer later in life.
there must be something in the DNA there
A lot of
that all
inbreeding.
those breeds have in common. That
A lot of inbreeding to keep.
is that part of it? Is the inbreeding? Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, purebreds are probably way more susceptible than a mutt.
They are.
Interesting. Which is the true case in almost every single medical condition when it comes to dogs, because at the end of the day, when you want purebred dogs, it's inbreeding. It's no different than your kids making more kids. It's going to create problems medically, and in
Yes.
essence, that's kind of what's going on there.
And we understand, if everybody, quit breeding, there would be no pets.
Mhm.
We do understand that. There are responsible breeders and people who do it, the correct way. But when you have people that, just, I'm going to get this dog and breed them because they'd make cute puppies, that's
Sure.
not how it works.
Yeah. So in actuality, when you look at it, if you really are a dog lover and a preserver of dog life, you're going to encourage mutts, because that's the key to making your pets healthier and happier. Is everyone loves their King Charles and their bougie to say all that, but I'm sorry, every dog I've had has been mixed. Even like my lab was a lab mixed with other labs and everything else, and they're smarter, they're better behaved, they're better attuned to the family, they're more in touch with your feelings. They just are smarter animals. They just are.
They also don't get sick as much.
Exactly. My sissy, she did die of cancer, but she was 15, 16. That's like me getting cancer at 85. It's like, well, I had a good run. You know what I mean?
Right. Where most, larger dogs live 7 to 9 years.
Exactly. So I've never owned purebreds, and I never probably will, because I'm just like, why? I want a happy, healthy dog that's going to get it. And I'm sorry, I haven't seen purebreds do that. Even like German Shepherds, but they've always been mixed with another type of Shepherd. So it's not pure blood German Shepherd, and it's look at human beings when inbreeding happens and see what happens. It's no different than other species of animals. It just isn't.
No, it's not. And what really people don't understand is when you have like mother and father breeding to son and daughter, that's no.
Yeah, they'd be arrested for that.
I agree.
But in society,
we're gonna take you to doggy jail for inbreeding dogs.
Well, and it's just that I'm not saying, but at the same point, I'm just saying, as a family, as a dog owner and stuff, stop demanding purebred dogs, because you're actually doing more harm than good. Let's get in a world where hey, let's find mutts these homes. Yeah, they're not going to win any Kenilworth dog shows, but I don't like those stupid shows anyway. But
are you taking your dog to the dog shows?
Are you doing
showing
that?
your dog?
Or
No.
are you wanting to have a family member, someone that brings joy to your life and you bring joy to it? If you want that, mutts are going to be the way to go.
And we got a lot of them.
Yeah. So
we
please.
have, and we do have a lot of, mixed breeds, and we do get purebreds in.
Sure.
Because,
People breed them, people do dumb things, and they
Yes.
end up in your hands. That's how they get there.
But when, we're placing animals up for adoption, we're trying to find them a home, a house, a family, not, this dog is going to get class number 1 in its breed. That's
You're not getting an
what-
AKC registered animal
No.
at the Humane Society.
No, you're getting a pet that's going to become part of the family
Sure.
and make your life happy.
And quite frankly, the people that want all that, these are the people that create a lot of other problems in the world. These are the bougie, I just saying. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
No.
My opinion on that one. I know there's some people out here yelling at me like, I love my dog. Great. Good for you. Most people aren't like that. Most people, it's a status symbol. It's a whole bougie, stupid thing that, quite frankly, I judge you hard for that. But anyway, that's just me.
Mike speaks the truth for multiple people.
Some people love me and some people want to punch me in the face. And this is
either you love me or you hate me. There's no in the middle.
And I'm on the side of right. At the end of the day, I'm like, what's the right thing? And even if not the good thing, it's the right thing. And that's what we should do. And if you do that every time, odds are your life's going to be all right. That's just how I live,
If you have animals at home that you want to get spay and neutered and you don't have, a lot of money to do it, because unfortunately, with the cost of everything going up, that is one of the things that has gone up.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have a voucher program. It is income-based, depending on how many people live in the household. It can help with either $75 off the surgery, $112 off the surgery, or $150 off the surgery. So it depends on what income category you fall in.
Sure. And the price of your spay or neuter also depends on the size of the dog here.
Right.
Smaller dogs tend to be more or less expensive to get a spay or neuter versus, say, a bull mastiff.
Yeah. And males are cheaper than females. But
see, I wouldn't know that because I've only owned females my whole life. My mom always did, because males mark territory and do all the things they do.
I had a female dog who marked her territory just like a male dog. She would hike her leg and then she would kick the dirt and grass.
Little tomboy there, yeah.
Yes. But males are cheaper because they don't have to be under anesthesia.
The surgery is much simpler to snip a male than
it really is.
Than is for a female.
It takes them longer to sedate a male than it does to do the actual procedure.
It's no different for humans. That's why they always tell us to get the vasectomies instead of, because it's a lot easier to do and it's a lot easier to reverse and all that. Now, pets you don't reverse, but it's a less invasive surgery.
Your dog or cat's neutered, there's no go back.
But it's a much less invasive surgery compared to a female spaying. So,
right.
Yeah.
Because they just take everything.
They got to cut you out, and they got to cut you open, do anything. This is snipping places and things. You're just cutting off parade routes, so to speak, and transportation networks there. Whereas a female, it's a little bit different than that.
It is.
Yeah.
But if you need help, come down. We're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 12 and 1 to 4:30. Bring the household income. And then the benefit from us is we understand that, you might make this much before taxes, but we don't look at that money. We look at what you actually get to bring home.
Your take home.
Your take home.
Gotcha.
So if you bring your check stubs, it's a lot easier for us to determine it versus your income taxes, because we know you don't get that money. The government does. So why am I going to judge you on your your gross, net, whatever, prior to...
Sorry, you gave too much money to the government.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to be able to help everybody, because we know times are getting hard, times are getting rough.
Absolutely.
And,
And you want to make sure these find loving homes, and if a $50 voucher to help someone get a spay or neuter is the key to making sure these pets get loving homes, and by golly, let's do that.
Right. And, we have, the voucher program basically focuses on animals that are already at home. So if you have animals at home that you need to get fixed, come down, we'll help you. We can help with up to 5 vouchers per household, because
Excellent.
the city limit is 5.
Okay.
So you can have 5 animals, 5 cats, 5 dogs, or a total or a combo. We'll help you if your income meets within the qualifications.
Perfect.
And we'll tell you, based upon the information you give us, okay, so this vet might be better in your price range to help you.
That's the other point too. Is if you're if you have a new animal and don't have a vet established or anything,
right?
And you could sit and say, because you deal with every single vet probably in Chavez County at some point or another,
and Artesia,
and Eddy County, and everywhere else,
right?
And
we talk to everybody.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, I get it. You need help. Guess what? This is a great vet. And they're very inexpensive on their vouchers. Go take them there. And obviously someone who doesn't need the voucher probably is like you go to the vet of your, you pay what you pay, and you choose your vet based on why you choose that vet. So, but if you are in the need of that or looking, it's like, look, I want a good vet, but I don't want to pay. You're like, don't worry, you'll get more bang for your buck at this vet with this voucher if or maybe it's a certain breed. Maybe this vet handles certain breeds better than other breeds.
There's certain breeds that need specific anesthesias.
Sure.
And some vets in the town, they'll tell you, I don't offer that type of anesthesia, but go to this vet and they do. A lot of the vets in town, they do. They have a veterinarian board where they have meetings and they talk about stuff. So if they've got a client that requires a specific medical treatment that they don't offer, they're going to send them to one of the other vets and say, hey, go to this vet.
And we do. We have some vets in this region that are, very right up there with, like when you watch Animal Planet, you see those like emergency surgeon vets and things. We've got those trained people here too. If you need help locating them, Humane Society knows
Call
those
us.
folks. So
we deal with them on a daily basis. We're there to provide love and care and everything that they need while they're with us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we find them a home. And that is basically, we are their in between. We are their
Absolutely.
halfway house.
That's the whole point of the Humane
They're halfway
Society.
to getting home.
And and to be honest, this is why you have the rules in place. Everything that you guys do is for that reason. So I understand when people get frustrated. It's like, I'll be a great parent for a dog. It's like, I get that. You probably will. But we got to make sure your yard is suitable for a dog. We don't want to create more problems for you or that dog because your yard doesn't, work out here. I get it. I love animals too, but there are certain things an animal needs. And if you can't meet that, regardless, how much love and support you pay, you've got to have that. We don't want to, because what's going to happen is at some point that dog's going to escape. Some point you're going to leave that dog at home and it's going to tear. And then it just sets up the table for failure and bad things if you don't do it this way. Not being said, it's not saying, oh, we're going to give you a dog and we're guaranteed you're going to give it back, because there's a lot of good people out there that just live in an apartment. We get that. But for the benefit of the dog, and at the end of the day, the people at the Humane Society, they want you to be happy, but priority one is that pet.
Yep.
That cat, that dog, that pet is their priority, not you.
Our mission is to take care of them and find them homes.
Yes. So they're the advocate for that dog. So don't take it personally when they say, I'm sorry, we can't rent you. I'm sorry, we can't have you adopt this pet.
Loading out.
Have you adopt this pet because your facilities just aren't suitable for a dog of that size.
And the majority of apartments here, they don't allow pets.
Yeah, you're asking yourself to get thrown out.
Yeah, so the majority of them, the few that do, they also have very strict requirements. It has to be a dog that is 18.2 pounds and under and can't be taller than 12 inches. They've got some ridiculous rules, and that's not saying that you can't come in and find a small dog that fits within that requirement. But at the end of the day, they still need to be able to run and play in an open area and not be on a leash, not be on a chain, not be tied up to anything. And get
You're
natural
trying to give them a
exercise.
quality life, not just a place to provide them food and water till they die. That's not what owning a pet is. That's unfortunately, that's the mindset of many people. It's like, oh, they're going to protect the house. I'll give them food and thing a day and call it good. And
no,
it's not illegal. You can do it. But if you're wanting a pet, the Humane Society is like, no thanks. We don't want to adopt you a pet like that. We want these pets to be a part of your family. We want these pets to provide you a happy life as well as you provide it a happy life. If you're just looking for an alarm system, go to Home Depot or talk to ADT or whomever you want.
PVT.
Yeah, PVT, whoever you choose to.
Yeah.
That being said, how's our inventory right now? Cats and dogs, is a lot available?
We do have quite a bit available. I have a transport coming up this Friday that I'm taking a few dogs to Albuquerque, and then next Friday I'll be taking up some cats.
Okay.
And then the Monday after that I'll be taking up more dogs.
Okay.
So I'm going to be on the road a little bit.
But in the meantime, she won't have to take them if you want them right now.
Right. If you come down, if you come down, you adopt. That means I can switch somebody out and take somebody else.
Absolutely. That's just the thing. By you adopting a pet here, that's freeing up another one because there's never a supply of pets.
There's never a lack of supply. We've filled up other states because New Mexico is horrible.
Roswell is not an issue, has that issue of underpopulation. We've always been a source for pets for other people. And and it's our fault. It's the community's fault. We do not do the I know, and people are like, I do, I get it. But as a community, we are not good stewards of pets. And that's why the places like the Humane Society and Animal Control and all these other rescue groups are not looking for work. They have plenty to do.
Right. So one bad apple ruins the whole tree.
Absolutely.
Remember that. You might be the best pet owner in the world, and we're not talking about you. We're talking about the people who don't want to spay neuter, who don't want to vaccinate, who don't believe in anything that we're preaching to encourage to reduce the population, because there's probably 20 dogs to one person in Roswell right now and about 100 cats to one person in Roswell.
Come to my
right
neighborhood. I'll show you. Every day I go home, I see at least 3-4 cats just hanging out in our neighborhood, just kind of waiting in bushes and things like that.
Yep.
And they're all feral. Now, in my neighborhood is different. All my neighbors, they like spay and neuter these cats and put them collars. Basically, they've adopted them, but they're all outdoor cats.
But they're spay and neutered.
They're spay and neutered, so they're not going to make more. At least most of them, as they catch them, they do it. But I'm telling you, every day I go home, I got 4 cats usually lurking, watching me go into my house every single day before I even get to my house. Yeah, they're hiding in bushes or standing in the middle of the street or pooping in my planter box in the patio. Because it's a good place to poop, apparently, for stray cats.
Cayenne pepper.
Huh?
Cayenne pepper.
Is that what does it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they that's their favorite. My wife sits there and watches them and gets mad, and I just laugh. I'm like, it's dirt outside. Who cares? It's like, actually, it's cheap fertilizer. Mix it back in there. You're good to go.
I'm on the side of your wife with this one. Kim, I got your back. Cayenne pepper.
Good deal. All right. But pets are available.
Pets are available. Thrift store.
Okay.
We have all of the health and wellness books are going to be half off.
Awesome.
We're still looking for donations of fiction and nonfiction books.
Okay, so if you got some books,
if you got some books, and
either fiction or nonfiction, and they still look halfway decent, readable. I mean, they don't have to be perfect, but don't look like they've been holding up your couch for 3 years and the covers and some of the pages are missing and all that.
Or you used it to soak up the tea you spilt on the table.
Exactly. Yeah, don't do that.
We'd like to be able to sell readable books.
So please, if it's serviceable, please, and you don't need any more. Humane Society would love that. Would be a great donation to help save pets in our community.
And today's Wednesday, new day stuff, so they open up in about 16 minutes.
Oh, yeah, go 10 o'clock here.
But tomorrow, the 17th, they're going to have all clothing half off.
Oh, wow. And by the way,
it's already cheap to begin with.
Yeah, you're paying pennies on the dollar for these clothing, and then they cut it in half. So literally, you could get a whole outfit for, you could probably get a hunk of a wardrobe for like $40. And next thing you know, you got an entire wardrobe right there, you know?
Yep.
And
the majority of the stuff that they've been getting in lately, is people, they go shopping. I'll fit into that. Put it in the closet, and they don't fit into it. And it's still brand new with the tags on.
That's right.
We get that a lot. And the majority of the clothes we have out now are still brand new with tags on them. And
I'm telling you, if you're say you're young, and you're new on to being on your own, and you land your first job, and you got to buy business clothing and stuff like that, we all know. You ain't got $100,000 or $1,000 sitting around to go buy suits and dresses and everything else to look professional. Get your butt to the Humane. And if you don't find what you want, the Humane Society one, go to the next one and keep going and buy dress pants and dresses.
You might get your suit from 4 different thrift stores, but I'm telling you, you're going to spend less money doing it that way.
To be honest, you might get high dollar suits and dresses that people paid hundreds of dollars for. You're getting for like $30.
We get 3-piece suits donated all the time. We get casual wear for women. We get women's business suits donated.
Yeah, like you could probably buy, like someone paid say $500 for a new suit. You probably sell it for what, $50?
Roundabout, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's
it's
what
not,
I'm saying.
You're getting it for a fraction of the price that was originally paid for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if you're on a budget, which all of us are, please use the thrift store, especially for those types of things that you got to buy for your job or buy for college or buy for a living, and you got to bite the bullet and buy it, but you don't want to pay 3 times. Go buy it practically new or gently used it at the thrift store, and you've just helped save pets, because all that even though you only paid $50 for that suit, that $50 now pays for a vet bill, or pays for the lights to stay on, or pays for the cleaning supplies to keep the pets healthy.
Yeah.
That's or litter or food when donations are down. That money for you buying that suit and buying those pictures and buying those books and doing all that helps to keep those costs down for
It does. And whether you spend $1, $50, $500, it all goes towards the shelter.
Absolutely.
If you don't want to shop and you have items you want to donate, we're always accepting donations. And if you can't come down and drop it off, call the thrift store.
Sure.
Schedule a pickup.
Absolutely.
We'll go pick it up. If you are replacing your furniture and you want to donate your old furniture, as long as it's in good condition.
And call ahead on that one, because anything that's like going to take up a lot of space, because they do have space, but space is a premium. And if it's something that's a big ticket item that they know they can't sell, that's going to take up a lot of space, they may say, that's not good for us, but maybe these folks can do it. And I'm not, but you guys take all the furniture, but say there's a rush of king-size beds, and next thing you know, you got 6 of them sitting there, and someone says, I got a king-size bed for you. Like, I appreciate it, but I got 6 of them sitting here already, and they take up a lot of space. So hold on to it or donate it here, and maybe in a couple months we've sold these and we can take it back again. But that's why we say call ahead for stuff like that. Just not that they don't appreciate it, but sometimes folks are generous and they give more than the main side has room for. And we just need to make sure.
And it's funny because we always say if we had a bigger building, we'd have more room, but no. Because it's going to fill up just the same as it is now.
Absolutely.
And we appreciate every donation that's given. It helps us out 100%. But what doesn't help us out is if you donate stuff that should have been dumped to the trash, and we have to pay to haul it off.
That costs you money, it costs you resources, costs you time. It does nothing to benefit, even though you think you're helping, or more to the point, you think you're making yourself convenient by getting rid of this stuff, and you're thinking, well, maybe they can use it. They can sort through and figure out what's good. And it's like, they really don't have time to sort and things like that. We really rely on you to say this is good, this is not good. And if they go through it, because they do go through it, they just don't throw stuff on the shelf. They go through it. But if it's full of ripped clothing and there's one shirt in there, they spent all that time taking care of one shirt that they could sell and 30 shirts that are going right to the trash.
Right.
And that's why we say be good. Hey, if it's still something you could use, then donate it. If you're like, I won't want to use it because it's so beat up, that's probably the mindset other people are going to have too and don't want it. So that's what we're saying. Be considerate that way. That's all we're asking.
They are going to start pulling out Easter items soon. And no, they're not forgetting St. Patrick's Day. But the majority of people don't decorate for St. Patrick's Day. They just go to...
One day they do. They wear a hat and then until they get drunk. And then...
And so... a little bit closer to St. Patrick's Day, they'll probably pull out, whatever St. Patrick's Day decor
Shamrock,
or
whatever's
stuff they have. But they're going to go ahead and pull Easter stuff out early because they have quite a bit of Easter stuff.
And if you are about to go out and spend a bunch of money on brand new baskets and grass and that kind of stuff,
don't do it.
For Easter, don't. Just go to the Humane Society. That stuff's practically brand new anyway, or used once. It's probably a third of the price of what it is brand new. And let's face it, you're either going to keep it or donate it back because it's a basket with that grass, and you only need it one time a year, and then the rest of the year you forget about it. Yep. Why spend all kinds of money on something like that? Just help the Humane Society.
Throw whatever you want in it,
and your kids will be equally happy. They don't care if the basket. They be honest, they don't even notice you put it in a basket, to be honest. You could literally put it in a bowl with, you know what I'm saying? Like, the kids don't even care. You could literally, that thing could smell like a foot, and as long as it's filled with candy, they're like, all right, I'm good with it.
Yep. Speaking of furniture, we do have a double recliner. So it's like it's a love seat, but each side reclines, and there's like a little ottoman in the center of it.
So it's kind of, it's a love seat with but it's got all the chair amenities. That's cool.
Reclines, and then it comes with a foot ottoman.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, really cool. They have that marked for $200.
Wow. I mean, that wasn't $200 brand new.
No.
It wasn't even close.
No.
Probably $2,000.
And because, our groundhog isn't for sure what we're doing, they're going to go ahead and pull out summer wear.
Okay. So if you're looking for some shorts, because it's going to be 70 on Monday.
A ton of summer sandals.
Okay.
For kids, men, women. They do have a bunch of small blankets that could be used for kids or even your animals.
Okay.
If you have items you want to donate that you cannot bring down, just call us and we'll schedule a pickup.
Absolutely, yeah. Please reach out and ask too if you're thinking, I've got some stuff here they might want. Call and ask, and then
is this stuff you can sell me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Like all the time, people come in looking for like knickknacks, collectibles, things like that. So if you have that kind of stuff, that stuff's very popular. So if you get to that point where you're like, look, I've got my Hummel collection, and I get it. Most people are like, I don't care, it's a bunch of it. But there's people out there that pay big bucks for that stuff. So, yeah. And they come in all the time looking, and they say, oh, that's the Hummel I've been missing for my collection. And then they end up paying pennies on the dollar, and they complete their collection. And guess who makes out in the end?
We have somebody that collects carnival wear that comes in. Anytime carnival wear comes in, she buys all of it.
Or, people that like Coca-Cola merchandising or
or Route 66 stuff. You know, there's people that collect all that stuff.
Mason jars.
Mason jar, yeah.
You know, they used to be called Atlas.
Atlas?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I always, you know what got me into mason jars? I can't keep these stories. I used to work at a restaurant called Po Folks when I was like 15, 16.
Okay.
And it was a country style. They'd spell everything country wrong and, you know, get you chicken when they spelled chicken all wrong with an X or something. But anyway, they'd serve their beverages in a big, like, 16-ounce mason jar. And I loved that. I was like, ooh, I'm drinking out of a jar. And I never, you know, now it's everything. It's like a bougie staple. But back then it was kind of a big deal. So where I was from. But yeah, they're very collectible. And not just for drinking. People can jellies and things and use them for that. And, you know, store their marijuana, whatever.
I store my tea bags in them, thank you.
It's legal now. You can use it for that. But
right. You can just carry it in the seat next to you.
Exactly.
There's no more hiding it with your jacket.
As long as you're not smoking it while doing it, you're okay. So
yeah.
But please reach out. The thrift store is there. And if you are a pet lover, but maybe you can't have a dog because you live in one of those apartments we talked about.
Come volunteer.
Come volunteer. Come walk the dogs. I mean, today's probably not the best day, but certain days, you know, when the weather's nice, not too hot, not too cold, those are great. Or at least when the weather's bad, you can come and they'll take you over to the meet and greet room, and you can take a dog or, you know, a couple, you know, and let each have turns playing and, you know, rolling around the floor with the dogs.
Playing with them with the toys.
Yeah, doing all that and get your fix. And then you go, it's good for the pets, great for you, but the more people come and interact with the pets, the more adoptable they become because
the more social they get.
And to be honest, the more different people is better too, because you know, dogs that, you know, are very loyal to particular people, that's great. It's a lovely thing, but you also want a dog that won't attack everybody that isn't you. So, you know what I mean? So
I own one of those.
So you know, you wanna get your pet to a point where it can interact with people that aren't you, but when you need to wrangle them in, they come correct. You know, that's the perfect situation I think you want with a dog. But again, you can help be a part of that by coming and volunteering.
Yes.
Did we get it all?
I think so.
RoswellHumane.org is the website. You can go there, become a member, see all the pets available for adoption, including the ones in quarantine. They'll just have a not available next to their picture there or on the picture there. That just means they're in quarantine because they're hoping to make weight before they're adoptable, or they're waiting on some shots or something like that, or they're in quarantine because they're new to the shelter and they want to make sure they're not full with parvo or anything else to infect the other pets. So that's the reasons for that.
Yep.
And give out the phone number to both the shelter and the store if anybody's any questions.
Shelter is 622-8950. The thrift store is 623-9210.
Very good.
We're open Tuesdays through Saturday, and the thrift store is open Wednesday through Saturday.
Yes, if you want a new item day, you got 5 minutes to get over to East
and
McGaffey.
they were sorting all kinds of stuff yesterday.
Yep. It's on East McGaffey, too. That's why I probably should. You go to Albertsons there on Main.
Turn east.
Yeah, turn east towards McGaffey. Go, what, about 400 yards, maybe?
7 blocks.
7 blocks, okay. Yep. And then it's there on your left. So, Good deal. Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
We'll see you here in a couple weeks.
Yes.
All right, it is 9:56, Wall Street update, and quick break before we go.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Despite the ongoing ravages of inflation, Americans went shopping last month, stepping up their spending following a weak holiday shopping season.
Retail sales jumped 3% in January after having sunk the previous 2 months. It was the largest one-month increase since March of 2021. Driving the gain was a jump in car sales along with healthy spending at restaurants, electronic stores, and furniture outlets.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Tesla plans for the first time to make some of its charging stations available to all U.S. electric vehicles by the end of next year. The Wall Street benchmarks fell into the red at mid-morning amid ongoing anxiety over inflation and the possibility of additional significant interest rate hikes by the Federal Reserve. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here is your chance to get the furniture you've been dreaming of. Hi, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture, and it's time for a sale. We are giving additional discounts on everything in the store. That new bedroom set you've had your heart set on, a dining table for new family members, even artwork to enhance your space. It's all here right now at discounted prices. Don't miss out on this rare sales event. Come see us at Glenn's Furniture on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to about do it for us. If you miss any part of our show, KSVPTV.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. There you'll find all of our interviews and everything. Of course, we had Aaron Bullock from the Pecos Valley Artesian Conservancy District. Had a great conversation with him last hour. And, of course, we just had a great conversation with the folks in the Humane Society. So we got it all covered. KSVPTV.com or scroll on our Facebook wall. You'll find all of them there. Have an amazing day. We will talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Take care.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. In Charleston, South Carolina, Republican Nikki Haley has made it official. She has formally announced her 2024 presidential campaign. Americans consumers rebounding last month from a weak holiday shopping season, boosting their spending at stores and restaurants at the fastest pace in almost 2 years. Retail sales jumping 3% in January. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres tells reporters the UN is asking for more emergency funding to help Syrian earthquake victims who have received very little assistance.
The needs are immense. The Syria effort brings together the entire UN system and humanitarian partners and will help secure desperately needed life-saving relief for nearly 5 million Syrians, including shelter, healthcare,